Good morning, Midnight's Edge fans. We're here to tell you that we have so much more to offer you now at our Mixed Tees store. Not just t-shirts and hoodies, but we do have plenty of those, and new designs for that matter. You can also get mugs, and of course our brand new limited Amber Turds stained blanket. That's right, just for your bed or wherever you need it. So head on over to Mixed Tees now and get all your apparel and goodies from Midnight's Edge.
Get up, wake up, this is your final warning. It's time for midnight sets in the morning. The gang is ready to go and it's time for the show. It's time for midnight sets in the morning.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to this very special edition of Midnight's Edge in the morning. No, wait, what time zone am I in? All right, that's Midnight's Edge After Dark is what I meant. But joining me here for that is from the morning show, Scribe Light. How's it going? And Scribe is muted.
He's doing great,
Well,
though.
He's doing great.
He is
I
doing great.
apologize. I didn't want to interrupt with some typing I was doing. I'm trying to be polite. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mead, and hello to everybody on the panel. Nice to see you guys.
Likewise. Also on the panel, we have Nick Weiser.
Hey, good to see you, Andre. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Good to be here. And yes, it's kind of late April's Fool's Day, as FKH is pointing out in the chat here. Also joining us is Professor R2.
Well, hello. Good to be here.
And finally, we have Price of Reason.
Yeah, hey, what's up?
Yeah, and since I'm here, everyone is going to be on their best behavior. Until, of course, Tom shows up later, then all bets are off. And Tom, of course, is a little bit late, as the more perceptive of you may have figured out. But I'm here, so it's all good anyway. And there was a trailer that dropped today, and we'll be talking about that in due course here. But we got a couple of super chats to go through first. One here is from SFX F314 Sabertooth Raptor. That's quite a mouthful. Who says for $10, it's a bird. It's a tetradactyl. No, it's Super Tom Connors. In this case, Super Andre, able to bounce Seth Rogen out of relevance and defend the honor of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Danger, abandon all hope for Red Sonja and most modern IP. Well, you're certainly right on that one. I'll leave the super chat behind the scenes here so Tom can get to it as well. And then we also have FKHC 2005, who says for $2, CT, hot CT. I don't know quite what that
Clobberin'
means,
Times. Love for Clobberin' Times.
Of course, yes. Much love to Clobberin' Times. And with that, let's get into the first topic at hand today, which is the Red Sonja trailer. Anyone had the chance to see the Red Sonja trailer other than myself?
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Indeed. I dropped a video about that earlier today on the main channel for those that have seen it. If you haven't seen it, here's a hint. The thumbnail reads, worst trailer ever, which kind of sums up my thoughts on it. But let's hear what you guys think before I chime in. Nick Weiser, what's your thoughts on it? I know that you've seen it.
I have. So, I thought it was okay. Now, to be fair, I'm not as well versed, particularly in Red Sonja, as I am, let's just say, Conan or Cole. So I've only read like a handful of series, but at least I feel like I have like somewhat of an idea. However, this trailer, it seemed okay, but I didn't disagree with some of your criticisms on the trailer because I watched your video earlier on. I could see why some would be put off from it. Honestly, it looks like something that could have been made way back when, and looks like it's supposed to be like a turn off your brain, big dumb fun movie. Now, could it end up being that? Hopefully. It definitely doesn't look like it was a high quality movie made. Matilda Lutz, she looks like she could be Red Sonja. I could see it in her. The only thing that I didn't like, and to be fair, I'm not going to judge it too harshly, is the last line in the trailer. And the reason why I'm not going to go all in is because I don't know how she responds to it. I don't know the context of it all after. But I feel like that line was done by design to, let's just say, ignite discussion. And I think it worked, because I saw a lot of people talk about nothing about the trailer but that one line at the end. So overall, it was okay to me, just okay.
Yeah, and of course the line you're referring to is this thing about the chainmail bikini. Does it protect anything? No, but it looks good. And good point to that. But again, I would always like to for people to remember, how much is Conan wearing usually? It's a loincloth. How much protection is there in that? Scribe, let's hear from you next. You're all dressed up as Solomon Kane, which is very fitting, because Red Sonja shares a director with Solomon Kane and Box Office Fate.
Yeah, that was something that I noticed when I was watching, because I pre-knew, obviously, that the director was the same one that did Solomon Kane previously. And the fight,
at least, but yeah.
Yeah, with the fight in the rain, the little scenes in there, I was like, I immediately thought that looks exactly like how Solomon Kane was shot with his big fight in the rain. The trailer was terribly edited, and as you said in your video, there was no narrative to it to just give you an idea. Like, people who have no idea who Red Sonja is, you don't even really have an idea who she is by the end of the trailer. The thing that I did find interesting was, at least by the scenes that we saw, was the scope that the movie seems to have. Because there's a lot going on, and there's these big vistas, and I'm thinking, this is going to be an okay movie that has terrible marketing again, isn't it? Just even before I saw your video, I thought to myself, Solomon Kane wasn't that bad. It had its problems, sure, but it wasn't terrible. It just had a terrible marketing scheme. So we know that, is it MJ Barrett?
MJ Bassett.
Bassett, pardon me. MJ Bassett can put together a decent movie. So, I have a feeling that it's probably not going to do well again. The bikini thing really, that really bummed me out at the end. I was like, okay, of all the people to look like she was resisting the idea of wearing that outfit, that's her outfit. That's just the way that she is. That's part of her attitude, is that's how she's supposed to behave. Like, oh, I have to wear that. Like, it's being forced upon me by a man. Like, oh, God.
By the way...
go ahead.
No, sorry, carry on. I'll add something about the chainmail bikini there.
Yeah, so the chainmail bikini thing threw me off. The seeming Braveheart-esque encouraging speech to the troops in that one little clip that we saw. It's like, oh, come on. And of course, like you say, the girl boss aversion. We're in long girl boss at this point. We've had it too much, too long. We don't need any more of it. I hope this is a ballerina-esque girl boss movie, but as you said before, it came out at the wrong time. But anyway, proceed.
Yeah. No, what I was about to say is about the chainmail bikini. This is actually something we can thank MJ Bassett for, because that bikini wasn't going to be there in the prior iteration of the movie. Then it wasn't starring Matilda Lutz. It was starring, I always forget the actress's name, but she's the black chick who plays Ghost in Thunderbolts.
Right.
And was before that. She's the one that was originally cast in as Red Sonja when they were going all rainbow, all LGBTQ, all gender studies, because at one point that's what the movie was. And of course then they had a black Red Sonja for the occasion, and she would be covered up completely, wearing a costume fairly similar to what Ghost is wearing, actually, because obviously you need protection and you have to avert the horrible male gaze. So that's what the direction they were going. So we can actually thank MJ Bassett for coming in and fixing the movie. Do you think that line? Do you think that line at the end was the compromise? Like, okay, she can have the bikini, but she can't be seen as liking wearing it or something. No, I don't think
No.
so. I think
Okay.
because you have to look at the studio here, because Millennium, the studio that's making this movie, the people there are not woke at all in the slightest. They only wanted to take advantage of the wokery for money, basically. Like kind of like think of in South Park when Cartman was wanted to start like a Christian boy band, and people injected to him, but you're not a Christian, you don't know enough about Christianity. And he said, well, yeah, I know enough to exploit it. That's what Millennium is. When they hired these woke people to do Red Sonja for them, they were just exploiting the woke people. Decide, oh, so that's what you want? We'll do a woke Red Sonja then. We just want the money. That was their entire motivation. There was no more to it. They didn't mean it. The moment MJ Bassett came in and said, I want to do the bikini, there wasn't any like, oh, we have to do that. No. There was like, okay, fine, whatever. We don't care.
Is this, and you might know this and I don't, is this a film that has the backing of the Conan properties?
It has nothing to do with Conan whatsoever.
Well, no, I know, but I mean, but is Red Sonja as an IP, is that under control by
no,
it's not.
No,
okay,
it's separate.
I see.
It was separated in the late 90s.
Okay, so is this something that like
Red Sonja is owned by a company called Red Sonja LLC, and it's run by, I think, Martin Lieberman who runs it, I think.
Okay,
and it has absolutely nothing in common with Conan properties or heroic signatures. There's zero links. It's completely two separate properties, like Marvel and DC at this point.
Is there any, or has there been any effort to try to bring her back under the Conan umbrella, or is that
No,
pretty much
none.
No,
None.
okay, interesting.
Yeah. It's the only times it's happened. It's like it's been two crossovers in the comics in the past 30 years,
Right.
and both of them were legal nightmares. It's kind of like crossing over Batman and Spider-Man at this point.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't quite clear on that. Okay, thank you.
But let's move on. Professor R2, did you see the trailer?
Oh, I saw it.
Before you comment, I have a question, because how much do you know about Red Sonja before seeing the trailer?
I have seen the original film from a long time ago. That's it. I've never read any books. I've never read any other media or anything like that.
Okay, cool.
But I certainly wasn't very impressed with it. She looks the part. Okay. She looks good in the outfit. At least they made sure that they had someone who was attractive in the outfit. That's good. I'm good. Glad to hear that. I guess you were saying Hannah John Kamen was going to be the lead.
She was announced as Red Sonja. That's the name. Thank you. It's always. Yeah,
that's a hard one. I don't. I always.
Oh, that's nothing compared to who was directing it.
Who was directing it?
I forget the name of that. Okay. But it was another they them. Who,
yes.
Yes.
Boy.
Yes. Who is a full-on gender activist.
Fantastic. Just love that gender activism.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and this gender activist rose to fame because she was Courtney Cox's personal assistant for many years.
Oh.
And wrote a short story called, and I'm not joking, Courtney Cox's Asshole.
Well, if you're going to be famous for something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, because she had some knowledge about like Courtney Cox's anal bleaching habits. So, yeah.
Good gravy. Well,
she wrote a story about that, and that was basically what was the entrance into Hollywood.
This is The Edge and Midnight's Edge, everybody. Just so you know.
Hey, they always tell you to write what you know. So I guess if that's what she knows. All right. Overall, I thought the trailer was just all right. I was kind of with Nick. I look at it and I'm like, well, there's some potential there, but at the same time, geez, I just don't even know if I want to see this or not. Is this just bad marketing, or is this really going to be as cringe as some of the scenes kind of show?
A great question right there. I want to pause on that for one moment, because the thing that I wanted to emphasize in the video that I made today is that based on this trailer, we can't actually say if the movie is going to be good, like Solomon Kane, or if it's going to be a complete and total disaster, like the Conan the Barbarian 2011 remake, or something in between. Because it's impossible to say, because we don't know anything about the story, we don't know anything about the characters. This is just a bunch of quick cuts with shitty music that doesn't even fit.
The music is awful.
It's god-awful.
I'm not... Oh, sorry.
You could take the trailer for Braveheart. You could take the trailer for... Oh, sorry, never mind the trailer, but you could take the original movie Braveheart and the original movie Gladiator. And you could take the footage from there, and you could cut a trailer just like this, just random shots with no rhyme or reason, and put that god-awful guitar music over it, and it would look like the worst movie ever.
I mean, I'm not going to complain about a trailer that doesn't tell me everything about the movie at once. That's something that I have a pet peeve about in the first place.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So there's that element to it. I don't think that was necessarily the intent here. Finding out that it's not in any way connected to the Conan properties actually makes me less likely to want to go see it, because I'd rather support things that go to people that actually know and care about those IPs. But at the same time, I'm like, well, like I say, Solomon Kane was okay. That's like the one thread of hope, is that the people who are making this, or at least the director, only the director has the pedigree of at least trying to be a steward for these characters. But of course, if she doesn't have much control over the script and how it was originally pitched and constructed, and everything was swapped with the actress and everything at the last second, then it probably is somebody else's idea, honestly.
Yeah. Also joining us is Tom on the road. I just have to say to Tom on the road, drive carefully. I'd rather have you home in one piece than and a little bit later than not at all.
Yeah, I'm getting close now. Hopefully, I should be there soon. It's probably another 15 minutes at tops, but yeah, if that.
Yeah,
it's so weird to see Tom in a different kind of lighting. Like it's always this dark. It's always this dark, like library or something, and now I'm seeing him in daylight. I'm actually kind of surprised he's not bursting into flames or something.
He's like Nosferatu.
I know.
Without headphones, it's all a little weird.
I know, you see my ears; they're so sexy.
It's like Mole Man emerging from the ground or something.
That actually reminds me. Speaking of cars, you know what? When I walked out of the sauna today, then I saw a Jaguar. It was parked, and there was a note in it. You know what that note said?
What did it say?
For sale.
Great.
I've got to leave, unfortunately, guys. I gotta split. I can only hang around for a few minutes. But,
all right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for inviting me on. Glad to talk about Red Sonja a little bit, and Conan peripherally. Nice to see you, Nick.
Take care, Scribe. Great to see you,
Take care, Scribe. Nice to see you.
Take care.
And not to step on anybody's toes, but in about an hour and a half over on my channel will be TED Excellence. We're talking about inclusion. You guys love inclusion, don't you? Well, we'll talk about it. And there's bingo. Yeah. I've got bingo to bribe you with. Yeah.
Inclusion has really saved Hollywood.
Yes. Oh, man.
Really massively increased its international appeal and dominance.
Oh, let me tell you. Oh, wait, I don't have the time. Bye, guys.
Take care.
Well, on the plus side, I get to say what I thought of that Red Sonja trailer.
I was about to get to that. So, Price of Reason, if you are here to stay now, what did you think about that trailer?
You know how there used to be in the 90s and maybe early 2000s these kind of movies that they weren't full-on XXX, they were kind of soft adult movies?
The ones that Julie Strain would be in, for instance, like the Andy Sidaris movies, is that his name?
Yeah, the one that the guy from Kiss, Gene Simmons, his wife, I can't remember her name. His wife was like the queen of those movies.
I think I get the point.
So basically, the reason why I thought about it, because especially in like close-ups and like you mentioned, the editing was poor and everything, and the music, something about it even though the production value was higher than those kind of late night naughty movies, the editing and the music and the faces she was making kind of reminded me of those type of movies. And when I watched the trailer, I found myself laughing. Probably I wasn't supposed to laugh, but that's what happened.
Yeah. I kind of like wish that the movie had a little bit like edge like that to it. And that's kind of like the thing with the study when it's made by a company like Millennium, because they are so unwoke that they'll just do anything for money. So they could perfectly well have made the movie like that. I think the problem here is that the movie was just made a little bit too early. Not too late at the same time, because let's face it, this movie has been in development since 2009 and gone through so unbelievably many iterations since then. And it was only saved from being completely woke by director MJ Bassett, who literally came in and overhauled everything. But probably not enough, because we could even see in the trailer that there is some level of girl bossness in it. Now, of course, Red Sonja is allowed to be a little bit girl bossy because she's freaking Red Sonja. She's the female equivalent of Conan. So if there is one character that has the right to be a little bit Mary Sue-ish, it's Red Sonja. Problem is that there's been so many other Mary Sues right now that everyone rejects everyone. All Mary Sues equally, including Red Sonja. And especially like this salto when she was jumping, and shooting a bow and arrow while doing that. I mean, that's like, and then superhero landing. That's like, yeah. That's 10 years too late. I mean, that would have been cool in 2009. I don't think that's cool right now. But hey, that's me. Any other moments that stood out in this trailer, for better or worse?
I'm trying to think of something that really, really was just like good, bad, okay. There was nothing too much of it that was like, okay, this is something that's gonna give me pumped. There was not really, see, outside of the chainmail line, and obviously noticing, okay, yeah, we have a redhead playing Red Sonja. It looks like it's action packed, I think. I know there's obviously a bunch of small parts packed together. It looked like there's gonna be a bunch of action. So for me, I like to think that that's a good thing, and not a movie that goes on about feelings with this type of character, because I know they love their feelings in movies, and not just in female-led parts, but in the male ones too. So even though it was filming around the time of, I guess we'll just say peak woke, it seems like it's gonna be more action oriented. Or for all we know, maybe it was a little bit of both, and they trimmed it down. Obviously, I don't know the runtime yet, but at least there's that going for it. For me, at least, I do like that. It looks like it's very action packed, and I want it to be. I mean, we're all to see a movie on Red Sonja. Yeah, it should be action packed.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out soon enough, because the movie will get a very limited theatrical release on August 15th, before being dumped straight to streaming on August 29th. So a 2-week theatrical run before streaming, which means pretty much no one else is going to release it, probably, since why would you? Of course, the movie may have more distributors lined up that haven't been announced yet, but as far as I know that has been officially announced, there's only distribution in the US and UK, and nowhere else has been announced to my awareness. So fairly limited release here.
Well, you got a bunch of girl bosses and an evil white guy. Who wouldn't want to pick this up and distribute it? I mean, this is excellent stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's see what you guys are saying in the super chats before we move on here. Goddess of Whim 2003 says for $5, "Hail Bossman Andre. I feel bad for fans when their IPs get damaged. I've suffered this fate many times. Yes, so have we all." And this one is hurting to me, because I was kind of like hoping that this could bring back the sword and sorcery genre a little bit. but the movie doesn't have to be good or bad to do that. But it can be a good movie, but if the marketing kills it, it's not going to do anything. Like, this is going to set everything back, just like John Carter did before. So that kind of sucks. So, gentlemen, any other stories of brands or favorite IPs that have been damaged over the years? Nick, which IP damage hurt you the most in the past decade?
I'm gonna go with Marvel. I'm definitely gonna go with that one because I grew up, especially like a Spider-Man is my favorite absolute fictional character of all time. I'm obviously a big Daredevil fan, Fantastic Four fan. Seeing Marvel for me was what hurt the most. Like, especially since there was a strong foundation, goodwill that carried over the years, and seeing where they went with it, especially right around Phase 4, it was really depressing to see, and it was something that took me a lot to honestly understand. And I guess you could say maybe I saw signs of it at the time with the first Captain Marvel movie. I knew something was off with the picture, but I couldn't really pinpoint what and why. But I knew something was off. I noticed things were starting to turn. I was noticing some odd things. People who never talked about those movies were talking about them. It was definitely, for me, it was definitely the MCU because I've been a big Marvel guy for, 30 plus years. I've been reading comic books since I got them from my local 7-Eleven in 94, 95, one of those years. So, yeah, that would be easily the one that definitely hit me the hardest for sure. I'd say Star Wars at second because obviously the OG trilogy is a huge love of mine. I'm not as well versed in the EU as others, but that would definitely be the second one for sure.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying about Marvel. I mean, that freaking hurt me as well. I'm a huge Marvel guy. I've been my entire life, so that freaking hurt. How about you, R2?
Oh, I mean, what to choose? Star Wars.
Yeah, I would
screwed. We've got Doctor Who. Totally, just completely destroyed. I would say probably the one that hurts me the most. Star Wars hurts. Star Trek, though, they have completely and totally ruined Star Trek in the past few years. It's so bad it hurts to even think and talk about it. Just all the damage that Alex Kurtzman and Secret Hideout have done to the Star Trek franchise. I mean, it really started when they brought in J.J. Abrams and did the reboot movies. That's really when they started just screwing up what the Star Trek was always supposed to be. It was always a morality play. It was always, real science fiction where we were able to explore lots of different ideas about humanity and society and our emotions, how we relate to people. You could explore those things in a science fiction manner, and then they just turned it into stupid action set pieces and whatever. And now with Alex Kurtzman, it's just gotten obliterated. I mean, they've even gone back and ruined old characters like Spock. It's so sad. It's so frustrating to look at that. And then, like I said, plenty of others to go to, but I think probably Star Trek is the one that's really hurt me the most.
Yeah. Well, the guy who ruined Doctor Who, he recently came out to defend the damage, saying that there were so many other hyper-masculine, testosterone-driven shows on TV, so you really needed Doctor Who as an alternative for gays and for women. Like, aren't you willing to give up Doctor Who, considering how unbelievably many other hyper-masculine, testosterone-driven shows there are?
Well, they've turned just about everything into a girls' brand now, so I'm
I
not
know.
really sure what he's talking about.
Exactly.
So Star Wars is a girls' brand, Marvel is a girls' brand, Star Trek are mostly female characters, and all sorts of stuff going on there. Please.
Yeah.
Doctor Who was never particularly masculine, other than just being a protective, in that kind of way. It wasn't like you had some roided out dude running around with a battle axe. He was Doctor Who.
Yeah.
He was there to kind of help everybody and make things better and keep people safe. It wasn't such a strange thing to say. Oh, we gotta have this really gay show so we can protect all of those people from
Yeah,
masculinity.
we can save lives, I believe. is the
Oh,
common
definitely
excuse.
saving lives.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
character never really focused on the sexual side. He wasn't like a very sexual character that all the time addressed this type of stuff. And for the past few years, that's all he does.
Yep, indeed. And Price, now that you grace us with your presence again, any other IPs that were damaged, that were particularly meaningful to you, that really hurt you when they screwed it up?
Well, I mean, I think that I liked Star Wars very much. That was damaged. There was Star Trek that was damaged, and Doctor Who, which was also damaged.
The same ones. Yeah, great cultural damage right there. In a sense,
That's like the big three. You know, I mean, there's other sci-fi franchises, but those were ones that were around for so many years and had such large followings and such tradition, and they were all just over the course of a decade all destroyed in the worst possible way.
Yep. They basically, they salted the earth so nothing can grow there ever again, which was very nice of them. And then D. Bud Martin has been a member for 48 months, which is awesome. He says, Andre, in your best Mark Malkin voice, say, "Oh, I only have one voice, and that's mine. Is this the gayest Red Sonja trailer ever?" Like, I can't do it. You have to have Tom do that.
I was going to say,
I
Tom would have
can't
been
do that.
really handy for this right now.
Yeah.
I can try.
Is this
go
the
for it.
gayest Red Sonja trailer ever?
Yeah.
He kind of sounds like that.
Kind of, but you were way too masculine. I mean, he has like a way of like making it really
Yes.
feminine, like in 2-3 parts in each and every sentence. And I couldn't do that if I tried. I mean, with me, like what you can ask me, you can do like you can like ask me, do a Norwegian accent and do an even more Norwegian accent. That I can do, but I can't even do different accents in Norway. So yeah. Oh my God, what a guy, Mark Malkin. That's a walk-in stereotype right there. I mean, you know what he is, Mark Malkin? The gayest trailer ever, dude, or gayest thing ever, dude. He's the target audience for the new Jaguar cars.
Why doesn't he own one? Shouldn't he lead by example?
Well, they haven't come out yet.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that in your last video, mentioning that these don't come out yet. Well, hey, I hope he buys them all.
Well, he just might. They're probably not going to sell many.
When they go on deep discount because no one else is buying them.
Yeah, if the company still exists by then, that's like the question: will they even come out?
That is a distinct possibility.
Yeah. That's like the thing, yeah. And speaking of cars, Dark King says for $2, Tom is in a car. He's streaming from a car. Chato. Yeah, indeed. He is channeling Chato right there. So we all have a little bit of Chato there with us. And then we have Soul Nightmare, who says for $5, Colin Sweat and Brosnahan were on The View today. Thank God it was the most generic and safe interview. We don't need any more media gaslighting. Yeah, I agree with that. So good thing that they evidently were able to behave. If they weren't, I'm sure we had heard about it. Because many people are nervous about the movie as it is, with many also predisposed against it, which I don't blame anyone for being, considering where we are culturally right now. Case in point, Jason Webster says for $5 Australian, the genuine reviews of Gone Superman keep coming, with Gary from Nerdrotic, Jeremy Griggs from Geeks and Gamers, and Steph all neutering the film. That's fair, and I think that their reviews are every bit as genuine as the positive reviews. I haven't seen the movie myself. I won't see it until tomorrow. But I've heard many people say that it's going to be divisive. What that means is that people are going to have differences of opinion, and the reviews are going to be equally genuine. What I take heart in, though, is that even Gary, Jeremy, and all of them saying there's no wokeness here. So that's a big win, just that.
I posted my review. I didn't like the movie, but I would argue that it's not necessarily that there's no woke in it, in my opinion. It's more that James Gunn is more skilled than those type of activists than you have at Disney. Meaning, I still felt it. It's just more kind of under the surface. I think personally, a movie where anytime you see a man on screen, he's either crying, getting his ass kicked, or things like that. I think that is kind of woke. But because James Gunn is not like a complete clown when it comes to making movies, I think that he manages to kind of mask it. But I actually thought that there was, I would say, semi-wokeness. Maybe not full-on Disney MCU woke, whatever you want to call it, but I do think it was there.
Yeah.
I disagree on that statement. I everything to say I feel like that's a major exaggeration, but hey, you have your opinion.
And the right there is where you're going to have the disagreement. I think. Again, I haven't seen the movie, so I can't chime in and say what I think until tomorrow. So who knows what I think about it. Also, Jason Webster, following up on this, saying, Gary called Gun Superman underwhelming and complete mess, tonally more akin in that regard to Black Adam. Ouch. I actually loved Black Adam. I had so much fun with that movie. I know that's a minority view. I fully went in expecting to hate Black Adam, and I was blown away by how much fun I had. But again, I sometimes have opinions that are different from what other people have, and I'm never ashamed about it. But if they thought it was a mess like Black Adam, then I probably won't mind too much. But hey, find out tomorrow. But anyway, sorry, you guys were saying before I so rudely interrupted.
Oh, you're fine, boss. You're fine. For me, like when I hear someone like Yellow Flash say he likes the movie, I believe him. To me, he's not less genuine because he enjoyed it. Yellow Flash has been very honest on what he likes and what he doesn't like. And the same thing applies for Gary Nerdride. Gary's a fan of The Suicide Squad from 2021. But he was not a fan of Superman. So I disagree with Gary on it. Well, that's fine. But him and I both like the Suicide Squad. I believe all of those opinions are just people who have genuine thoughts, and some things they like, some things they're not going to like at all, period. But I really enjoyed it. I'm actually seeing it again tomorrow afternoon in Dolby, pretty much right after your morning show. I'll be seeing it at 2 p.m. after. So I'm looking forward to watching it. I want to, maybe pick apart for Easter eggs, little things I may have missed, from the first viewing. And when I left my theater, it was that the crowd was clapping in excitement from the movie when it finished. Now, I'd say if I'm going to question anyone, if I were, it would probably be, let's just say, someone who would say it's the best Superman movie yet. At that point, that I feel like that would be okay. You're being a bit sketchy. That's a recency bias. That's probably the only time I would say that might be not so genuine of a thought, is if you're going that hard. Now, to be fair, if all you have seen is Superman Returns, Man of Steel, and Superman, well, then maybe that comment would be more genuine. But if you have seen them all and you grew up in the 70s, I have a hard time believing that. But hey, I've been wrong, and I think it's good to have this discussion of agreements and disagreements on it. I said on Tuesday night, there are things about the movie I wish was not in the movie. And the funny part about it is the stuff that I wish was out of the movie was stuff that I actually liked. But I don't do it always based on what I like. I do it based on, does this affect where the story is going in the movie? Because you could have still good stuff and it still not make sense to keep in the movie. I would have actually had a few less characters. And there are characters whom I liked in the movie, the way they're depicted, but I would have liked less of them.
I think people in general should be careful with declaring something the best movie, this or that, ever. Because it's easy to be carried away by something as you are watching it. And then later, that's when you really start thinking about it. That's when the flaws start getting in. And if people then say, oh, it's the best Superman or Batman or whatever ever before you've had that reflection over it, you're going to change your mind. That's kind of like what I'm thinking. I think like many of the people who like declare this the best Superman ever, yeah, you may say that when you come out of theaters, but will you feel the same thing 6 months from now? Will you feel it 2 years from now? How is that opinion going to hold up? I wish people would be like more careful before saying, "Oh, best thing ever," because you're really just setting other people up to fail. Because
you're hyping their expectations up so high that they're gonna hold you to that center, think, "Oh, it's got to be the best thing ever," and then they come out like, let's just say, a little bit disappointed because they're thinking, "Wow, I was told that this movie is like, no, the best thing since sliced bread," and it was like a 6.5 or 7. Yeah, and that's why I kept it modest for me. It's just like, yeah. It's easy for me to say it's a 9 out of 10, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it modest, and I stuck to an 8.1. I think I did on Tuesday night with Tom and Paulie and the others. And now that I've had a few more days to let it soak in, I still feel the same way. And I'm going to have my second viewing tomorrow. We'll still see if I feel that same way, but I feel like 8.1 feels a lot more modest. It's saying, yeah, I like it. I don't think it's the best one ever, but I like it, and there's things I can't wait to come back to the movie for. And yet, at the time, once again, I still have things I could pick apart about this movie. So, and I think that's good because to me, the picking apart, whether it's genuine or not, I think that's going to vary on the ratings for people depending on how much do they bother you. So let's just say if something really polarizing happened, yeah, that alone could take off a few points for people. But if it's like a bunch of small things, yeah, I could justify keep a high score while calling out those things.
I think that if this movie would have been not a Superman movie, but something that James Gunn invented, like Quirky Man, okay? And this is his movie, and he's just dressed in whatever outfit, and there's all these weirdos around him, and he's kind of a loser. I wouldn't have minded it. I would have said, okay, this is from, it's a kind of James Gunn type of movie. The problem is for me, this was suddenly a hybrid of James Gunn's humor and style and his tendencies, which sometimes I like them in other stuff, but pasted on Superman, I didn't like it. And I think that from day one, I was worried that he wasn't the right man to do this movie. And after seeing the movie, I am absolutely sure that he's not the right man.
Yeah, so you were right in your worries.
Yeah,
that's and that echoes what I was thinking the whole time. Like James Gunn, he's perfect for some things. I absolutely loved what he did with the Suicide Squad. I loved what he did with Peacemaker even more. And completely unrelated to that, I also greatly enjoy Superman the Animated Series and Black Adam. So hopefully that's enough for me to enjoy the movie. That's James Gunn's Superman.
Yep.
If it isn't, I'll let you all know. But
yeah,
I'll look forward to it with great anticipation. Even more so after hearing all of these mixed reactions, because if absolutely everyone likes it, then it's a little bit vanilla, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, out of the theater, I was a lot like Nick. I really did enjoy the film. I really did. Had a good time while I was there, but it has dropped a little bit in my estimation as I've thought about it a little bit more. Gone back and kind of gone over the notes that I took out of the theater, and I mean, it's still a very enjoyable experience. I kind of right out of the theater, I was pretty close to Nick, kind of like an 8.1, 8.2. It's gone down a little bit, maybe a 7.8, something, maybe 7.5. But it's still an enjoyable experience. I definitely have my complaints about the film, about some of the plot. I felt it was overall, it was pretty messy. I didn't really like. A lot of people have said a lot of things. They love Nick Holt. They love this version of Lex. I did not. I did not particularly like this version of Lex. I didn't mind Nick Holt's performance. I thought he was fine. I also didn't mind Corn Sweat as Superman. I thought he did just fine with what he was given. But I do still have my complaints. But I had a good time. I enjoyed the time that I had with the film. So that's much better than it's a much better reaction. Feels much better than anything I've had with a Marvel movie in quite some time.
Probably a year. I think most people probably enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, I would
while
say
they
so.
liked it. I guess that some people have changed their opinion now, although I can't understand why. But it is what it is, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. And then moving on with the super chats, there's one with my name here. I'm just going to jump to that because I'm here for the moment. Goa 141NO says for 50 Mexican dollars, Andre, we should congratulate Jaguar for achieving over 100% decline in sales. Their reputation is so bad, the classic Jaguars are being sale dumped en masse. Yeah, that's quite an achievement. I will at least say that they were fully behind the decision. It was just a shitty decision, and the entire senior management needs to be let go because of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite impressive brand damage. I think
Yes.
this era is going to be looked back upon in history as an unbelievably self-destructive one, when all of the major companies committed corporate seppuku, because that's what Jaguar just did, which I now understand is pronounced with an F.
You know what I always think, and I've said it before, back in whenever it was that they thought that there would be like a nuclear war, and they had all those movies with duck and cover, and a lot of pop culture reflected it. And then later, when you look at it today, it just looks ridiculous, especially like that they used to make those movies duck and cover for the kids. This whole woke era feels like duck and cover. One day, people are going to look back at it and have this cringe look thinking about this.
Yeah.
Possibly. Or they're all going to be dumb and stupid and the world's going to end.
Well, it depends on what happens next, doesn't it?
It does, yes.
Which is the scary thing. Like, sanity doesn't always prevail. If it did, history would have looked very different, and we'd be living 1,000 years more advanced than we are right now. But hey, it is what it is, and we have the world we have. Let's just see if we can make the best out of it. Now then, continuing our earlier discussion on destroyed brands, SFX F314 Sabertooth Raptor says for $5, Star Trek, Star Wars, TNMNT, Marvel, DC, The Lord of the Rings, among others, are all damaged and will never truly recover. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Well, I guess, no, probably they can't, because you'd have to win over a whole new generation. And I don't think you can do it. I don't think that any of these brands are going to have a comeback the same way that they had before. But someone who has a comeback here is Tom Connors, back in one piece in the office. Glad to see it.
I made it.
Fantastic. How was the movie on second viewing?
I liked it. I liked it again. If anything, I felt like the gunnisms, I felt less the effect this time.
Interesting.
Yeah. Other than that, no, it was fun to see it in 3D. That was kind of one of my main reasons, and this too.
Ooh, nice. I'm doing Dolby tomorrow afternoon, Tom.
Cool. So yeah, if anything, it's pretty much the same as the first time. The effects of the gun stuff, I felt a little less this time than I did the first time. But you guys also have to understand, like, Guardians of the Galaxy and 1, 2 are like probably my favorite Marvel films, and I'm one of the few people who actually likes part 2. I didn't dislike part 3. I thought 3 was very good too. So like, to me, this is kind of like, I like the tone because it's the same kind of tone as like the 90s TV series mixed with the comic books, and I have no issues with that. So I hope Andre enjoys it. I know he's supposed to see it tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, I'll be seeing it in 9 hours from now. So
you better get your butt to bed, I guess.
That's exactly right. So yeah, thanks for having me. And
thanks for actually coming in and taking care of this for me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that too. So
it took me a little longer to get out of there than I planned. So yeah.
Yeah, well, what are people for? So yeah, but anyway, it was fun being here, and thanks for having me, and have a great rest of the panel.
Take care, Andre.
Take care.
Bye, Andre.
So what's in the news?
Oh, we
How did I
talked
feel
Red
about-
Sonja trailer,
Yeah.
and then we just kind of got into Superman, and then it's kind of been that discussion since.
Yeah, I mean, that fucking trailer, man. I tell you, I got that last night and I dumped it on YouTube on Twitter.
Yeah.
Before I technically got officially released, and then then everybody else got their hands on it. But yeah, so that's been a strange tweet of mine because it's been viewed quite a few times, been retweeted more than anything. But yeah. Oh, and look who's here, Six. Hey, how you doing, Six? We can't hear you.
He'll be back.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, you are here.
Hello.
I just made it. Just got back from Superman again.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. My alarm didn't go off, and then I get a message, "Hey, what you doing?" And then you didn't answer me, and
Yeah, I was gonna see if you wanted to come on and handle things for a while, but Andre did.
Yeah.
So.
oh, and I missed him.
Oh yeah, you just
Hi,
missed him
Andre.
too.
Okay.
Yeah, like he just left, like not even 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
So you saw the movie, but you haven't told me whether you liked Superman or not yet.
I saw it twice.
You saw it twice because I saw it today too. So what'd you think?
Oh,
of
did
it?
you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't hate it. Didn't love it. I have a lot of issues with it. It completely was not the movie that I thought it was going to be. I went into it wanting to love it just as much as you did. You and I talked about this multiple times, that we really were excited for it, and it looked like it was going to be amazing, and it was not at all what I thought it was going to be. I didn't know Lex Luthor was going to cry in it. I didn't know that I wasn't going to love Crypto, and so and it's nitpicky stuff. And I feel like I don't think I've ever picked up a Superman comic in my life, and I feel like I'm completely missing out. I've never felt like more of a normie than I did coming out of this movie. This was not the Superman that I fell in love with as a child with Super Friends. So I was disappointed, but the reason I saw it twice, because I thought, okay, I saw it once. I fucking wanted to love this movie so badly. There's something wrong with me. I need to see it again. And I actually already planned on seeing it again, but the fact that after seeing it once and I didn't like it, I thought I got to give it another chance, because I saw Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. I saw that movie in the theater twice and didn't really care for it. And now I'm, naming my animals after the characters. Yeah, I was terribly disappointed. So
Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a mixed bag, it seems like, but
Yeah. Oh yeah, the crying. Like everybody's crying.
and not everybody gets their ass kicked. Price. Not every guy.
That was not
Superman gets his ass kicked every
twice.
Throughout the whole
without
movie.
spoilers, it makes sense when you know why he's getting his ass kicked. It's not just because it's anybody either, right? Like that's the thing. Otherwise, Mr. Terrific never gets his ass kicked. None of the Justice Gang gets their ass kicked.
Mr. Terrific gets to be more heroic than Superman in his own movie. I liked Mr. Terrific. Just so you know, I like the character.
I know,
and
but I
liked
don't know
him.
about that.
But I would have liked.
Individual people that Superman saved, that freaking building that's coming crashing down. That was all Superman, dude.
He even saved the
all
squirrel.
Superman.
Superman was like a damsel in distress.
I was, because he's the one who got.
No,
that
he
building.
wasn't.
The
Come
damsel
on.
would get that building back up. Please miss me with that.
Yeah, I felt very emotionally manipulated with the squirrel and with Crypto, which is fine because that's that's my trigger point as animals. So
yeah.
Well, let's avoid some spoilers yet. No, we haven't gone too far. I don't think so. But no, I still enjoy it. My rating really hasn't changed. It's still in that 7.5 to 8 range, just like Nick. So It sounds like you're in the similar range, R2. But again, like I said, it's
not going to be for everyone, and that's fine. The only thing I don't understand is when people hear that someone likes it more than they do, they feel like they need more people to confirm their opinions. Guys, if you hate it away. If you thought it was okay like 6, then okay away, but it's okay to stand by your own opinion on it. Our opinions are
Absolutely.
just our opinions. They're not the damn gospel.
I in my review, I think at the end with the grade was fair. I said that I gave it like a just passing grade because for me, anything below a 60 is a fail. So I gave it a 60 out of 100. Meaning,
You hate everything.
Meaning I gave it a passing grade because I think that it's like a competent production. It's not just complete crap, and it's not Captain Falcon, Strange New World, or the Marvels. It is a movie, and James Gunn, I like a lot of his stuff. I just didn't like what he did with Superman, and that really was the issue. There were moments that I could enjoy, but overall I walked out feeling very, very disappointed.
I agree. It was a little too goofy.
Too goofy, too Gunn, too. He wanted to do the Suicide Squad or the Guardians of the Galaxy MCU pasted on Superman.
This
and
is
it
the
didn't work for me.
problem. This is the problem with shit like Man of Steel. Okay, because we've been bombarded with this. Superman is this emotional wreck that constantly is moping around, and they did it in Superman Returns a bit too. That's not Superman.
Superman stalking
Exactly.
Lois.
I mean, yes, they've done stories in that and graphic novels and such, but most of the time, Superman is goofy as fuck. Do you realize he has a character called Mitzel Pitlick, who is a magic little imp? Like, people don't think about these things. It's like Superman is goofy as fuck in the fucking comics.
Yep.
Goofy.
I mean, it depends.
This really captured that kind of silver age. Yes, the 50s, 60s, definitely. But even in the cartoon eras, they had some goofier stuff. Like, I think this was kind of leaning more towards the 90s tone, mixing in the silver age, some new things. The thing that I think most people have a problem with is the message, but we're not going to get into that right now because it's kind of a spoiler thing. But I was trying to really pay attention. Yeah, I was trying to pay attention to a lot of that.
I had Man of Steel, the comics, the series, Man of Steel 1, 2, 3, 4, when I was a kid. I think all 6 issues. That didn't seem goofy to me from what I remember.
Okay, but those comics don't encompass the entire era or decade either. That's the thing
You know what?
we also want to consider as well. There's a lot, and Tom is right here. So when people want to cherry pick specific stories and say, well, this story wasn't, okay, but that's just because that's true about that story doesn't mean it translates to all of them as well. There's tons of goofy stories. And you know what? I'm good with that. As I said Tuesday night, we need a Superman movie that rolls with the crazy. We need more comic movies in general. Superman has all sorts of crazy villains, and people clearly show that they only know specific movies when they let's just say discuss this. Not you, Price, because you actually have read comics. I can, that's obviously proven. But a lot of people talk about this only from the movies, and they feel like what happens in those movies encompasses 80 years of storytelling. Spoiler, it does not. There's so many goofy comics, and guess what? Superman has far more nuance to his character than people have. When anyone says, oh, he's so super, he's so perfect, you haven't read a Superman comic. Oh, he only has Lex Luthor and Doomsday. You haven't read a Superman comic. So please let these people go on about how they feel like they know this character so well because they may have watched a few movies.
There have been so many eras of Superman. For me, though, there's a difference between some kind of sillier, lighter tone animated show, and I've watched some of those as a kid. There's a difference between that and what you do, in my opinion, in a big screen cinematic interpretation. I personally thought that Zack Snyder's was too serious and too dark. Returns was just a strange anomaly, but I do think that the original Donner movie, especially the first one, it captured the right essence. I'm not saying it has to be an exact copy of that, but I really felt that that movie had heart, and it really respected the character, and he seemed very kind of noble and masculine, and like, you know, he had class, and you could feel that he's a real hero. This thing, it's catering to like Gen Z weirdos, in my opinion. Little kids will see this. They think this is their hero, some guy that's just like some goofy dork. I don't know why it annoys me. Like, why can't
do you
he
think
be
he's
like
such a
the cool
dork?
Superman?
I don't get that. That's what I don't understand.
Complete dork, yeah.
He's just a nice guy. That's the problem with the Big Blue Boy Scout, Price. Right? This is the Big Blue Boy Scout. He's not this super cool guy. He thinks everybody, Lois even says it herself in the film, and that's totally true of Superman. You think everybody you meet is beautiful and all this kind of shit, right? Like, because that's what Clark is. He loves everything and he thinks everything's beautiful, right? He's a super nice guy. Yeah, he's just that's
Goofy,
Clark.
silly, weird. 1985, right here. This was a lot of these issues with these types of goofy concepts. They happened a lot. Once again, and not even these weren't even every story, but were they prominent? Oh yeah, they were. In the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, they get even more weirder and goofier. Yes, there was your serious moments. So yes, I'm cherry picking as well, but all I'm trying to prove the point is that there is a lot of stories that had a little bit of both, but there was also a lot of silly and probably even overshadowed a lot of the serious stuff at times for better and worse, but it was most definitely there.
Not just that, the serious aspect of the film is that he just wants to be a good man, right? Like at the end of the day.
He doesn't have any complicated thought to being why he wants to be. He just is a simple man who wants to be good simply because. Not everyone needs to have a deeply layered, detailed story into why be good. Why can't someone just be good just for the sake of it? Why the hell not?
So it sounds like if the audience had read, or if I had read the comics, and I would have gotten more out of the movie, or I would have liked the movie.
Maybe.
But that's implying that there's homework. And that's what I was thinking while I was watching the movie, was that if I was familiar at all with Superman in the comics, then I would be getting more out of this movie and maybe I would have enjoyed it more. So what percentage of the general population who goes to see this movie, I'm not talking about people in our community, but people's butts in seats, what percentage of them are familiar with Superman in the comics?
That's a fair question because I honestly haven't read a shit ton of comics myself. I'm just familiar with things, right? Like in that respect, like there was a bunch of characters in this movie that I didn't know, right? But I also know that Miss Tessmacher, if I remember correctly, didn't she originate in the movie and not in the comics? So like, yeah, there's different aspects to these things, and I get what Price is saying. Like I agree with you in the sense that yes, the Donner version is still the better film. That probably captures what I and most people would prefer to be the tone of Superman, but he can't just keep remaking Donner's film too, so that's a problem there.
If he would have made it like his Gunn style even, but just toned it down significantly more, it was too loopy and goofy. And I had a situation that when I walked out, there were a few people and some guy walked out and they asked me how I felt about it, and I said I didn't like seeing him as kind of a loser like this. And this guy got really upset at me. He's like, I've read every comic book for the past 54 years. I've watched every this and every animated show. Obviously, you don't even know what you're talking about. And I'm like, dude, I didn't
see him as a loser. This is where I keep asking is, how is he a loser?
He is a loser.
How? Explain.
If you're
Explain
calling
how.
this a loser, they show me point A to point L.
Yeah, what about him is a loser? That's what I want to know.
It's the overall vibe of him that
Give me an example.
Ranging from getting upset to whiny to everybody gets the best of him every second. So he's not allowed to be emotional. The damsel in distress. I want to see.
When is he a damsel in distress?
The whole movie. The whole movie is a damsel in distress.
That's an
when?
Except for like the kaiju.
Give me an example.
Except for like the kaiju in the building. For most of the time, there's no confidence. I don't.
He busts
like...
himself out of prison. No time does anybody ever really help him.
Why Metamorpho? Without
Metamorpho, is the one who helps him the most. Yes, Six is correct.
Without Metamorpho, he would still be sitting in that prison. And not to mention that they helped him.
He wouldn't have been sitting in the first place if it wasn't for Metamorpho.
Because he has teammates and people that are helping him. That doesn't make him a
damsel.
That's what I'm trying to figure out here.
I don't need all these teammates.
Okay, give me one example when he is being a loser.
The whole movie. The whole
no, give me one
movie.
specific example then.
I sat down in the theater. He appeared on screen. The first thing you see, he plops down, and it's like there's a title that's like, he's just been defeated. And
for the first time in 3 years.
Yes,
he's never lost a fight.
Add that context and don't take that out of context.
You know what? Then I haven't. You know
what?
Who
did he lose a fight against? And don't say exactly who it is because it'll spoil things.
No,
but
I won't
that's
say
my point.
I won't say it. But what I will say is this.
All right. See, you want to dislike it, Price. I get it.
No, I don't want to dislike it.
You can't give me one fucking reason why you say he's a loser.
If I wanted to dislike it, I would have given it a failing grade. I didn't give it a failing grade.
You still haven't been able to give me an example.
Okay, I'll give you an example for
I'll
what
give you
I
one
think.
if you don't have one, but go ahead.
No, I'll give you an example for how I see a Superman movie starting.
That's not what I asked you, though.
Okay.
I asked you to give me one example of when he is a loser in the movie.
Okay, so he gets thrown in that cell, and he needs Metamorpho's help. Then he needs what's his face? He needs Mr. Terrific.
Why does he
needs
need
Lois Lane.
Metamorpho's help?
He
Though you
needs
just
Lois
totally
Lane's help. He needs
When does he
Jimmy
need
Olsen's
Lois's help?
He can't do
When does he
shit by
need Jimmy's
himself. He
help?
needs the whole world to help him. There
Never
isn't
needed
a
Jimmy
moment.
Olsen's
I
help.
never feel that he's in
Never needed
control of
Jimmy
any
Olsen.
situation. He needs
Never
everybody
needed
to
it.
bail him out and help him every second. To
He
me,
does not.
that makes him
Okay.
a loser.
That's
He's
how you
fucking
feel, but
Superman.
that's
I don't
what
want
they
everybody
Okay.
to go bail him out
Okay.
every second.
He
Fuck
didn't
that.
get bailed out by anybody. The only
He gets
reason he was
bailed out
stuck
every
there,
second. He can't fucking do
no,
anything.
he didn't.
He's on the
Let me-
floor rolling around every second.
Because he's getting poisoned by fucking kryptonite, and the only reason he's being poisoned by kryptonite is because Metamorpho's there. If he wasn't there in the first place, he would have just fucking punched out and punched Lex and found a way out. Because that's exactly what he fucking did at the end. The only thing they were doing was keeping the door open. That's it. That's all they did. Crypto helped him more than anybody. Six is right.
And also annoying. Too much of that dog. I didn't need to see so much. of
That I
We-
can
we
agree
got the
with,
right
but that's
amount
not
of
even the
crypto.
point we're getting at here. And the only time I was going to say he was remotely a loser to me was when he walked out that fucking door. That was the only time, because a real man would have stayed.
I didn't want to hate the movie. I like
That's
all of
the
James
only
Gunn's
time.
movies. I like all of James Gunn's movies. I've
Otherwise,
enjoyed
he
them.
got back up every fucking time, and nobody ever helped him get up.
I've enjoyed
Yes,
all of James Gunn's movies. His style, for me, wasn't appropriate for this kind of movie. You can say that you feel that he wasn't a loser. Something about it felt this kind of self-deprecating something. I didn't like what I saw. I like to see a Superman that commands the room, that he walks into the room and his dick is the biggest and he can swing it around. I don't like that he's all the time everybody seems
So
to get
you
the
want
best of him.
Snyderverse Superman? Is
No,
what you want.
Snyder was too dark and too serious.
See, here's the thing: Superman is the big blue Boy Scout. That doesn't mean he comes in and acts like fucking what's his face from Guy Gardner. See, that's what people also think.
I
Superman
don't need
should-
him to be rude. Sometimes it's kind of like it's that stronger silent type.
Or
It's
Mr.
just-
Terrific, then he's Batman. So what's the difference? So like, I don't know. how to
In the
please you
Donner
this one.
movies, Christopher Reeve, when he walks into the frame and the way he presented the character, I believe that he's very confident and competent, but he's also kind of a Boy Scout. And I feel like he got that balance right, whereas in this movie, it's a weird James Gunn quirky movie pasted on a Superman. It's like a James Gunn skin on a Superman body, and I personally don't think it's a good fit. And I want to tell you for a second, because you didn't let me say before, this is how I would have started the movie. I start the movie with Superman, first of all, on top of his game. We see him, not the first time that he's been defeated, but we see him kicking some ass and do some great things. Maybe we see him even at the Daily Planet. Everything's great. And then what happens is that a threat comes, and suddenly he's not the hot shot that we thought like up until this moment, because it's a real threat. We've seen him when he's in control of the situation. Now there's a real threat. But instead, all we see is that he's like laying down on the ground and like getting like his ass kicked every 2 seconds throughout the whole movie. I don't like that. That's a creative choice that I don't like. Not to mention that Pa Kent cries every time you see him, and his mother's like, "Oh, he's a mush of a man." And I don't even get me into, because I don't want to do spoilers, but the Kryptonian parents. I won't give more information. There's a lot of weird shit there too. This is very much a strange anti-patriarchy, anti-masculinity Superman. And if you
that
like
movie's
Saturday morning
well-rated,
cartoons with goofy
hardworking
stuff, it's
family.
fine. I don't think it
Smallville.
has a place in this movie.
Are we going to ever get to a spoiler point? Because I want to know, Price, when you say Ma and Pa Kent, there's some super weird stuff going on. I would love to hear what specifically.
No, it was the Kryptonian one. It's Jor-El that I'm talking, and Lara that I thought.
Okay.
Let's do these super chats, and then we'll talk some spoilers, I guess. Accident Seller says, finally saw Mission Impossible 8 yesterday, but the guy behind me kicked into my seat during the movie. I'll only be buying seats in the back row from now on. Well, that sucks. Did he like keep kicking it, or what the hell? That's a jerk move.
He
Jason
might not
Webster.
have known. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was gonna say once in a while it's
He's an
accidental,
asshole.
but if they keep doing it, yeah.
Yeah.
Jason Webster says the K-drama Moving is by far the best superhero content film or series of the decade. It's not even close. The only movie I know of is with Richard Pryor in it, but I think I tell you this every time you bring this up, Jason Webster. Dana Carvey's in that too. It's DCV Titan. Yeah, you ever seen that, guys? Moving with Richard Pryor?
I have not.
Oh, it's fucking funny as hell. He buys this house because he gets this new job, and I don't want to give too much of it away, but it's like basically the whole thing just like it's a big old fucking like fiasco from the start to the finish. And he ends up hiring Dana Carvey to drive his vehicle, his prized possession, because he's got to drive the other stuff and whatnot. And at first you think Dana Carvey's fine, but this is one thing I will spoil. You find out he's got multiple personalities and he just goes missing. So it's the perfect guy to play this, right? So like he's got all sorts of characters he plays throughout the movie while he's trying to figure out where the fuck's my car, like. Anyway, DCV Titan says the only thing I disliked about Guardians 3 is that it's such a waste of Adam Warlock. Yeah, and honestly, I'm starting to wonder if there wasn't more plans for that for the cosmic side of things. And then when that all went to hell, James is like, well, I promised him I got to use him. So he just kind of tossed him in there. Does that make sense? I mean,
I didn't see the third movie.
You still haven't seen it?
I don't care to ever see it. When I saw Adam Warlock on screen, I called it Adam Soylock. And I said, no, fuck that movie. I appreciate what Gunn do with the Suicide Squad. And as much as I love Cosmo, I'm a big Cosmo. That's my doggy. I was not going to watch my boy, Adam Warlock, be sacrificed
it's a girl
on the
now,
altar of goat milk.
Yeah, I mean, he's fine in the film, but...
I have another point that I wanted to say. Lois Lane, here's another thing that bothers me about movies, and this movie was guilty of it. How come I keep seeing movies that have a red carpet where the ladies show up, look like amazing, and then you sit down and you watch the movie, and all of them have had some kind of weird woke coordinator dress them up in like weird potato sacks throughout the entire movie. Lois Lane was dressed like a dude throughout this movie.
No, she
Why
wasn't.
is she dressed like a dude?
No, she wasn't.
She was dressed like a dude. They wanted her to look dumpy throughout this whole movie for no apparent reason.
Then why was she wearing a skirt and a Girl Scout out or schoolgirl outfit in that one scene? You weren't paying attention. She was wearing shit that punk rockers would wear because she's a punk rocker. That's what she was wearing. Because every other woman in the show is wearing something fine.
Does she look like a punk rocker on the red carpet? This actress?
She doesn't have to.
What are you talking about?
She's a journalist in the movie. Why would
she's
she
a
dress
journalist
like
in the
her
movie?
So journalists that work in an office, they usually like to walk around and look like dudes. That's what usually happens. I don't think so.
She had pants on.
She looked
What century
professional.
were you born in?
She looked
She had-
professional,
If a woman
dude.
that looks good worked at the Daily Planet, she'd at least look semi-good when she walked in there. She wouldn't look like a dude.
schoolgirl outfit on?
I've been in a legal
Am I
case.
alone in this?
I've been in a legal case. I had a female lawyer, and a lot of those ladies, whether legal, business, journalism, they're not far from what she dressed like at. That's not far off at all. That's very in line with
The
her
only thing I
job.
didn't like was the pants, but they were punk rock pants is what they were. Otherwise, her top was fine. It was the stupid pants in those two scenes. But there's a scene in between those two scenes where she's literally wearing like a schoolgirl outfit, like a prep schoolgirl outfit, basically. And I'm like, because I remember your review and I'm watching this and I'm going, did Price not see this scene? Because
I'm trying to remember what you're even talking about. Listen, everything jumped so quickly in this movie.
That's true. There needs to
dressed-
be an extended version. but
Most of
yeah.
the time, I can go watch this again, but from the best of my recollection, the majority of the movie, she's wearing like this kind of vest and a shirt that looks like a men's...
She has the vest, yes.
A Hanes men t-shirt that you buy at Walmart, and a vest that looks like a dude should wear it, and her hair, like, it's like they looked at the red carpet and said, let's do the reverse. Let's make her look dumpy. And I don't care that she's a reporter, and I don't give a shit that she's punk rock. Trust me, I know punk rock better than all the people sitting here on this panel, and I'm telling you that is a crock of shit.
Best Discharge album.
What'd you say?
Best Discharge album.
Best.
What's the best Discharge album?
I like Road to Ruin by the Ramones.
And I'm not talking
Oh, you're calling the Ramones punk. Okay.
They're the pioneers of punk. Of course I'm calling them
but
punk.
that's more the popular side.
Exactly.
You wouldn't have all that shit you listen to without them.
Gotcha.
True,
with
but
that one.
All that shit that you like, you wouldn't have without
there's
them.
more
Road
of
to
her
Ruin.
wardrobe than that. Yeah,
Road
she
to
wears
Ruin
the
is the
skater
real deal.
pants like twice in the
But I
movie
know
price.
it.
That I concede. But she has this other scene where she has that tight purple shirt on. She has that other scene where she has the skirt get up on that I was just talking about. So she does wear more than that. But every other woman in this movie is dressed appropriately. And I think she's dressed appropriately for her surroundings in most cases. She's
And
a
for her
journalist. She's a
age.
nerd. She's a
Because-
bookworm. Yeah.
Because they have that scene where Jimmy Olsen is ogling these two younger girls are ogling Jimmy Olsen. They're younger than Lois Lane, so they're wearing the shorter skirts. They're wearing the more feminine outfit,
yeah.
whereas she's more established in her career.
And
She's
Kat's showing
more
off
of
her
a
tits and
business
shit.
casual.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get where you're coming from, but I don't think that was on purpose, Price. Because like I said, I paid attention to quite a few things this time out because I wanted to be
All
able
I
to.
know is that the major scenes she had in the movie
beefed up.
that weren't these quick flashes, I recall her looking like wearing dude clothing. I will give you that at the end when he kisses her, there is something that she's wearing more of a purple blouse thing that
Yes.
that probably if she would have been wearing something like that throughout the whole movie, I would have thought that was a bit better. Even there, it's toned down. Everything is toned down with her. And you can come up with a million justifications for why that happened. But as I said in my review, don't forget that James Gunn is the person that in Guardians 3 made Nebula suddenly look and dress like a dude as well.
No,
After in the
that was an
past, they made her
actual
look sexy. Suddenly
look.
she was a dude. James
looked
Gunn
like an
loves this.
actual
This is what James Gunn loves.
Maybe two things can be true. He can have horrible outfits for Nebula.
Have you
in
seen his
POTG3. I saw the photo.
Not
of
in the
poster.
bedroom. In the bedroom, he likes like regular stuff. On screen, he wants people to suffer.
I think that may have been also maybe the actress's choice at the same time. You guys got to keep that in mind too.
Wait, did I see that you could flip that newspaper around on the bucket?
Yes, you can.
Oh, damn it.
Why?
The only one I saw was stupid crypto on it, and I was like, no, thank you.
No, you can flip them around, and Mark showed me that actually. Mark needed to see.
Yeah,
I didn't even know it
well.
until he showed me. I'm like, oh shit, you can flip it around. He's like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because the only one I saw had freaking crypto in it. I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you can flip it around.
Ah, damn it.
Yeah. So yes, I did go 1 for 1. I did get a popcorn bucket. Thank you for asking. And then we got Jason Webster who says Jeremy Griggs of Geeks and Gamers said Gun Superman Man of Steel is better, and I hated Man of Steel. I disagree with him by far.
God, jeez,
By
Jeremy, are you
far.
freaking nuts? Man of Steel is garbage.
Now,
I
even
think
though
he's
I
more of a
disagree-
Donner Superman fan. That's
Yeah.
why.
Even though I disagree with this take, I do respect Jeremy's take. Why? Because I know that there's things that he's been saying, hey, I like this, and he's gotten ragged on. Like, I know he liked Thunderbolts, which I didn't really like, but at least he was honest with that. Even though I disagree, I appreciate where he comes from. So that to me is like, okay, that's someone who is negative about it. That, you know what? Hey, that's just how he feels. You can't control how some people feel. They're going to feel how they want to feel. And Jeremy was clearly not a fan of either.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's okay.
Yeah, everyone's entitled to their take. It's fine.
It's fine. We don't have to agree.
Man of
No,
Steel was
no.
better than this. I don't think so.
Everyone is
I'll-
entitled to their shitty opinion.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you what I think. I think that Man of Steel had issues, and this one had issues as well. There were things that I liked about this one, but a lot of stuff that annoyed me. And I think that when it comes to Man of Steel, there was stuff that I liked, but also stuff that annoyed me. I haven't watched Man of Steel in a long time. I will say that walking out of this one, it suddenly made me think of that movie a bit more fondly. And I say this as a person that thinks that that movie has a ton of issues. There's things that are inexcusable in that movie. But on one hand, as much as I thought it was dumb the way Pa Kent died there, what they did here, a few things that had to do with parents that I don't want to spoil, was at least as bad.
Don't think that is canon. What I mean is, I think it was manipulated by somebody.
You know,
you
if
get
that
my
were
drift.
the case, then you needed to resolve that by the end of the movie.
I think I'll tell you why after we get through these super chats. I think they didn't. We got
Because they don't like the patriarchy, and they
No,
also, and not to
God
mention,
damn it,
everybody's like, "Oh,
motherfucker.
what about all the your
Brainiac, dude, Brainiac! Fuck, Jesus Christ! I'll say it, Brainiac.
the
What?
thing?
Remember when she fucking plugs into the computer? What happens? She goes whoosh, motherfucking blah! Something got into her.
And the
I'll tell you
movie,
who
and
it
the
was.
movie with an
Brainiac.
after credit scene that explains this. Because if you're leaving it as is, I think it's a very, very shitty thing to do. And by the
Why
way, the
else do
final
you
thing.
think Supergirl was off planet for the movie? Because all she had to do is go, well, that's fucking bullshit. Because she was the same age when she left. She's got sucked into a black hole or whatever, depending on which version they're going to use. And so she was a Kryptonian and should know how to speak Kryptonian. And she would be able to say, that is nothing, we never were anything like that. And not only that, it goes completely against every fucking thing they say in the earlier part, and it's everything Lex Luthor wants it to say. And everybody makes a point to say that it's legit, almost like too much, to where it's like, well, how would they know? Because the only person they got it from was Lex fucking Luthor. And even though he says it's legit, he lies about everything to everybody.
Then they should have clarified that. And by the way,
I get what you're saying. I get
that
what you're saying,
whole
but I
thing-
think it's left open for the sequel because I think Brainiac is in the engineer.
The military conflict there was also, if it was like Disney, they would have done it more on the nose, and maybe James Gunn is smarter that you could say it's sort of an allegory, but man, did that feel like he was like dragging real world events into his stupid movie.
That's just chasing ghosts now.
It's not a chasing ghost. It is not.
Was all about the allegory. Superman
it is not a chasing ghost. I will give Gunn the credit, even in my review. Even in my review, I said that he's smart enough to make it different, and that it's not one of those countries that's in a conflict, and to do it in a way that's supposedly more subtle and an allegory. But you know what? It still, even with all that, felt a little bit too much, in my opinion. It wasn't just randomly there. There was something that he was pushing there.
Dude, yeah, look, phantoms are not real.
He wrote this movie like 3 years ago, right?
No, and he filmed,
and it was shot over a year ago.
Over a year ago,
done filming over a year ago. Yeah.
Did they film the movie before that whole thing with Sammy the squirrel?
Yes,
I think
way
so
before.
too. Yeah,
Yeah, way before.
I think so. I think so. That's just coincidence too. I think. I mean, was there any chance they could reshoot or do things? Yes, but you can't change like major plot points and everything like that. Not without clear reshoots where they went back and, you know. It is funny though, because in this comic I got here, in this supposed prequel comic, Perry White's white.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Look at that.
Oh, dude, that is hilarious.
Of course, nobody looks like they do in the movie, but
Yeah,
I don't know if it's actually connected in any way.
Oh,
Prequel. I don't know what it is
was
actually.
connected to the movie.
It doesn't even say what it is. I don't know what it
okay.
is, to be honest with
Never
you.
mind. I got backtracked my laugh. Damn, I had a good laugh. Growing through.
Is it? I don't know what it is. Oh, it's an all new origin story from Dan Jurgens and Bruno Redondo.
Oh, Bruno Redondo. Yeah, he's an okay penciler. Now Dan Jurgens.
Unless this is an advertisement.
Superman.
No, this is an advertisement for something else.
Okay.
Where's the
he's wrote
fucking?
Superman
Oh, this is. I know what
Superman.
this is from now. I know what this is from now. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Okay, took me a second to figure it out.
That was Frank. God, what's his name? From Jupiter's Legacy. God, that spread right there you just showed off. Frank Whiteley. I think that was Frank Whiteley's art right there. He showed off a spread. That was Frank Whiteley. Fantastic artist. Oh man, Frank Whiteley's so good. And his Superman story he did.
Yeah, that's
was
Quietly
really
from
good.
All Star Superman.
Man, I know like Frank.
Who's
Whiteley
this green-haired
gets a bunch of
chick?
crap for his art, but man, dude's so good.
I
Say
got
that
my
again.
contacts in. I can
Green dude?
barely read.
Are you talking about Martian Manhunter?
Green-haired chick. No, it was a
Oh,
green-haired chick.
Show me the green hair.
Hang on, let me.
Okay.
She-Hulk?
No.
No, that's Marvel.
I know.
Unless you did that deliberately.
I don't know if you
No,
can
I
see
did.
it
I was
there.
trying to think of somebody with green
Right,
hair.
this is all from All Star. Read this, dude.
Yeah,
a
it's
good
from
story.
All Star. It says,
read it. It's good. I'm not gonna give it anything away. I'm gonna say just read All Star Superman, Tom, and they can text me at night. Let me
I
know.
think
that
I
it's
have.
great.
I might have. I might have the full. Did they put it out in like a graphic novel
Collected
form? I think I
edition?
might
Yes.
have it.
Yeah, it's got
I
a
might
there's a
have it.
Several reprints.
two issue.
Oh, so I didn't
Several.
know that's what this is. This is just stuff from there. I thought this was like a prequel comic. Now I'm kind of bummed. Damn it.
You got something better. You got a better writer. You got better art.
I know,
good
but
artists
I
like
wanted
Pink
something
Whiteley.
exclusive for the movie, even though the
I get
cover is
that.
exclusive.
That's fair. That's a fair criticism. Okay, I'll give you that. But dude, the art and that stuff, oh, bro, I'm gonna have a fucking straight up mangasm now just going over and looking at it.
Yeah.
The art in All Stars is fantastic.
I love it. Like I think I'm in love with it.
And then Dead Man says he gave Superman 7 out of 10. Yeah, I can see that. Again, is it the best Superman movie ever? No.
Is it the second best?
It might be. It depends, because there's 2 different versions of Superman 2.
Yeah.
And in some cases, I would even argue that Superman 2 might be a better film than the first film, especially in the Donner cut, but I hate the ending of both films. Doesn't matter. But the end of the theatrical cut of Superman 2 is technically better then because of that. But the super kiss is kind of ridiculous too. So it's like, pick your poison on what you want. More ridiculous, him turning the earth backwards or the super kiss.
I've always had an issue with the turning back of the earth. That I agree with you, but otherwise, I really like both movies.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the only real big flaw of any of the films. Really, is this whole the second film, the theatrical cut, has a lot of flaws. I'm not going to say that. Because him throwing the S and some of the other powers he gets out of nowhere. He can just change his clothes without even going into a phone booth anymore and shit. He just starts running and his clothes disappear. Just weird shit like that. And he can just mentally move shit with his mind and stuff after a while and stuff. It's no. So the first film is probably the best. The second film, the Donner cut, is pretty damn close, but I wish they'd do a better cut. Because Donner almost put the TV end, what became the TV ending on his version, is what he said he probably would have used. But I don't know why they didn't just do that for the DVD. But
yeah, who knows?
I think it's because they wanted to use the footage that they had shot for the original ending. Because for those who don't know, the original ending of the first film wasn't supposed to end with the Earth, him going back in time or spinning the Earth backwards, however you want to put it. It was supposed to just end with him stopping both, and Lois never died. That was what happened.
Yeah.
And then when he threw the one out in outer space, it blew up the people in the Zod and Nan and Ursa in the floating prison for the, whatever you call it, the Phantom Zone.
Phantom Zone.
Yeah. And so you just don't see him until the second film, and the first film was supposed to end with them going free. But yeah, so, well, it is what it is. But that being said, I thought this movie overall was a fairly good movie. Pretty coherent. If anything, I feel like there's maybe a little bit longer cut somewhere that helps with some of the characterizations. Because I do see where Price is also coming from with Ma and Pa Kent, but I feel like they got shafted. And I'm not a real big fan of the person they cast to play Ma Kent. I think they overdid it with her. See, that's where I can understand. The other guy I was kind of fine with. It was just more or less... They didn't have but 3 lines, so it was
They made them two stupid hillbillies. That's what they made of them.
No, they did not. They made them loving, caring parents, and that's what mattered with Superman.
That's the problem with the editing right there. See, I think there was more to them that we didn't see.
Could be.
Because
I was fine with it because to me, I was seeing it in a less is more perspective. We got to see them. We already know who they are. We are also having a movie that's to the point. We just need to show them. Hey, where is the relationship standing with Clark? Clark gets up speed. He spends the night there, and you know what? Hey, I cleaned up your boots. Awesome. I was great with that.
But I understand. Familiar with a rotary phone, his parents.
You know what? Here's the funny thing, and that's funny you mentioned that, because look, I get it. Because I get the point, because what we see of them is not very much, and what we do see, you could surmise that from that.
It's not flattering.
My mom is a nurse, and that is my mom on a fucking phone, and she's had a cell phone longer than most people. Also, so don't think that isn't fucking people that age.
Yeah,
I know we think that they should be so fucking up to.
One of the most popular comic book writers still has a dumb phone.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I get it. I get the inclination that people would normally walk away with that, but my mom is not stupid. But she sounds like a fucking idiot on the phone.
Oh, D-Bud,
I don't know why.
I still don't have a cell phone. D-Bud just said it. I was just saying he doesn't have. He's still only on a landline. Well, yeah, it's D-Bud's out there. It's absolutely.
I get it, and it's fair because we don't see enough of them to really get much more than that from them.
I have to kind of agree with Price. When I first saw it, I thought that their characterization was pretty close to just being country bumpkins, which I
agree.
didn't really like.
I
Salt,
don't- I-
salt of the earth, fine with that. So, living simple living, whatever. But I don't know. It was borderline for me.
You guys
And
don't
me-
know the country.
I was gonna
I
say,
live in fucking Kansas.
Then go deeper. That's what she said.
In the
When in
Donner
doubt, go
movie,
deeper.
in the Donner movie, his parents looked like parents that would raise a serious guy, and they were never made to look like bumpkins or hillbillies. I would take that interpretation over what we got in this Gunn movie any day of the week. And
it's the mother that does it, really. I swear, if it wasn't for the mother and the way she talks and her accent and the way they have her play her little business, right? Like that
Clark,
is,
I want to try to send you a fax.
That's what I mean. That is the problem, right there. Because what his dad says to him, I like that. That's one of the best lines in the film.
He says he's proud of him, and then he starts weeping.
No,
It was a wonderful
Stop it,
touching
Bryce.
moment.
You're
And
just
what he's
trying
saying
to trigger
is,
time.
okay,
I'm
Here,
so
I'm gonna
proud of you,
translate
son.
this- I'm gonna
Boo-hoo.
translate country for you. What he says. Okay, first he's talking about we went up to this place that we used to go that they don't have anymore, but there's the same place over in this other place, and the burritos are still good. That's Dad telling him, the more things change, the more they stay the same, right? Because all his world has just been in upheaval, right? So that's what his dad is telling him with that. And then he tells him that you that message means exactly what it means to you. You just need to worry about being a good man. And you know what? Your actions define who you are. And you are a very good man. And everything you have done to this point for the last 3 years and since I've known you, whatever, I'm proud of you. I almost well up in that scene.
Dude, it was a touching scene.
Because that's what his dad is really saying to him. And it's the simplicity of what he's saying. I know we're here this little burrito story, but no. What Dad's saying to him is like, good, I get it. You think your world just got completely fucking upheavaled, right? I would say the same thing about when they moved my favorite burrito place. But guess what? Went to this other place. They still taste the same. Great.
All I know is that
I
we went
get
from
it.
Glenn Ford. We went from Glenn Ford to Kevin Costner to some guy that's like,
Kevin Costner was not a good Jonathan Kent.
I want to eat a burrito, son. I'm so proud of you. Boo-hoo.
Good.
That's what I got from that
actual
scene.
Superman's parents.
The burrito.
You know
talk
I'm
was
right. You
weird.
know I'm fucking right.
It's hard
Do
for
you
to
get
be
though what I'm
right,
saying, guys? That's what he's
but you're
saying with it.
wrong.
And
'Cause
we went
Superman-
from
I didn't get
'cause-
that.
No,
say
'cause
what you
let
want
me-
about
okay,
Zack Snyder.
Let me
Russell
replay the scene
Crowe.
for you guys.
Dude,
Russell Crowe was good as Jor-El. Why did
Yeah,
we
he
need
was
this
fine.
thing?
No, he
Whatever the
wasn't.
fuck this thing was.
He was just fucking Russell Crowe.
I'll take it. I like that it was
Fuck.
Russell Crowe and
I hate
Vanessa
Russell
Fisk. I will
Crowe.
take that deal. I will
No.
take
Let
it.
me tell you how this scene plays out. Clark
Don't
looks up at his
pick
dad
Clark.
and he goes, I don't know who I am anymore. And he tells him the burrito story to tell him, like I just said, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Because like he said, this place that we used to go to get burritos closed, but this other place has them and they're just as good. So that's what he's trying to say with that. And then the other part is obviously what he's saying flat out is like, it doesn't matter what the message says. What you do defines you. You are the man that you want to be, right? You're the boy we raised. And I'm proud of that. That's what he's saying with that scene. It's that simplicity of that simple salt of the earth kind of speaking. And that's what I'm saying. I get where you guys are coming from. We don't get enough of it in the movie. I bet you there's a bunch more of that in the movie that we never got to see.
Like tacos and tortillas.
Yes, all about tacos and
Yeah,
tortillas and stuff like that. Yes. No, I'm talking about the little story. It doesn't mean anything about the burritos. The burritos secondary.
That scene
story
left me
was
dead inside.
clearly
Okay, I
I
guess
felt
see,
absolutely nothing.
I get James Gunn then, I guess. That's all. I guess. I don't know.
I
You're
felt
right.
that scene.
We don't get
I-
James Gunn.
Maybe you don't. I'm just
Maybe
saying.
I don't.
James Gunnism.
And
I
that's
thought that
okay.
was not a James Gunnism. He was trying to actually have a very personal family moment the way it would be in the country. And that's absolutely as
It's a
how
lot
what
like
James
life
Gunn
is like a
as
box
kid.
of chocolates. You
I
never
never
know
saw
what
that
you're
movie.
That
gonna
would be a
get.
bit closer. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I have more depth than James Gunn. James Gunn is just like a goofy, quirky guy, and it's good for some stuff. But anytime there has to be something with real heart, he usually misses the mark. And I'm sorry, even those burritos and the crying didn't help.
I disagree on that. See,
Well, I guess
and
that's
I can't help it. You're a robot.
I can't
I mean-
help that it's a new fault.
I'm a what?
A robot.
Robot,
What is that?
A robot.
Oh, okay.
Robot mixed
Like-
with a puppet.
Oh, I see what you mean. No, I'm actually I'm a very sensitive guy. I think you guys you underestimate me.
I don't know about that.
I
We'll
don't
see.
know about that.
Tornado says the couple jokes, but actually takes the doors and windows and pool and move. I know. I didn't want to spoil it for everybody. Tornado.
You know, if I had a parent that came up to me eating a burrito, trying to give me a moving speech, I would have never felt more moved in my damn life.
Yeah, because you want their burrito.
Yeah, I want to take their burrito. Like, that was amazing. Can I have your
I'm
burrito
so moved
now?
that you gave me this burrito, and I'm having a bowel movement in about an hour. Kelly Hahn says, I want a reboot of Xena Princess Warrior. I loved that show as a kid. I mean, that's really kind of closer to what Red Sonja should be at the end of the day.
I agree.
I mean, Xena is kind of basically just more or less a ripoff of that, isn't it?
Yeah.
My understanding. I mean, right down to like having the girl sidekick and everything else.
Yeah. Instead, you're getting a reboot of Scrubs.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting.
Hold on, what? The R?
Yes, and the whole cast is coming back too.
Wow.
The whole cast.
Wow.
So they can come back and ruin another. Like, that's the thing about these shows. I used to be like excited for these, and the only one that I'm excited for anymore is The King of the Hill. Did you guys see the new trailer that just dropped yesterday?
No, I didn't.
No.
Should I?
Oh, boy.
I'm
We'll watch that in a
cautiously
second.
optimistic about King of the
I was
Hill.
watching
I
Beavis
love
and
King of the
Butthead. I was watching an older episode. I was watching this one where they saw the statue of the naked guy, and then Butthead was like, "Whoa, Beavis, you see that statue is like hard, but not hard." That's so hard. I think I watched that episode like 30 times. And no, I wasn't drunk or high. It's just that's how funny that shit is to me.
Tornado says, great discussion. Mead rocks. Hail everyone. And then Accident Seller wants to know what Bat Tom's review of Gun Superman is. Oh, hang on. He's getting ready for work. What? I got important bat shit to do. What? Oh, it's a Superman movie? That fucking was. The only thing good about that movie is Mr. Terrific. I think I'd like that guy on my team. Can we get rid of all the other Justice League and just have me and Mr. Terrific? That would be swell. I like how that guy thinks. You put trackers in DNA, hack into computers, figure out mysteries. He's my kind of guy. Anyway, the rest of the movie, just a bunch of fluffy dogs and flying guy with his pajamas on. Ooh, look at me, I'm Superman. I got powers. Ooh. I'm going to take that guy out one of these days. You see, wait. Just watch.
Take them
So
out for
footage.
burritos.
I like burritos. Especially the burritos from that new place that his dad gets them from.
Kleenex on every table.
Damn right. For jerking off or crying?
No, for crying.
I don't know. I just heard Kleenex. When I hear Kleenex, I associate it with it. I got to go to work. John S. is in the house. He says, don't know if it's been said before, but isn't Superman calling his dog Crypto like a human calling his dirt? Well,
he
Yeah.
didn't name the dog.
I guess.
Spoiler.
That drunk ass bitch
But-
did.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
That's what you didn't like, huh?
Oh, well, if we're in spoilers, we can talk about that. but
Yeah, well,
good
now we know why he
Lord.
misbehaves, as he says.
Yeah.
Are we in spoilers?
We can talk a little spoilers because you had a couple questions you wanted to ask, but I already busted it out because I'm like, that was pretty much my thing that I was going to say. So,
Oh,
you want
God.
a banner?
Yeah. Oh,
if you want.
If you wanted me to not be excited about Supergirl, that's the way to do it. I have no interest in seeing this movie whatsoever after her little cameo in this film. I just no thanks.
Horribly
I can actually
irresponsible
agree on
dog
that.
owner.
I can actually.
I knew
agree
that's what
on-
Six
on
was going to say.
She called Superman a bitch, which was also annoying.
Yeah.
That I
You are
agree
right
on.
about that. That was
I agree.
stupid. She was drunk, but still, it's
I don't
stupid.
care
Yeah,
if she's
I don't.
drunk. It was-
I didn't
It was
care for
Supergirl.
her.
That, yeah,
a little
I
bit.
agree. Now that's one. That probably be the first thing I've agreed on as far as a criticism. Yeah, that was awful.
They better make sure that she don't act like that in the movie.
Set up the scene, Tom, so people know what we're talking about.
Oh, okay. So, like at the end of the film, when Superman's hanging out at the Fortress of Solitude, there's a crash, and then you hear, "Why the fuck did you move the door?" And then you see Supergirl come in, and she's all drunk.
Yeah, she's like
And-
stumbling in. And
she's like,
"Where's
"Where's my
my
dog?"
dog? Where's my
And then
dog?"
Crypto comes and jumps on her, and she laughs and goofs around with him a bit. And then Superman goes, "Well, now we know why he misbehaves so much." As Six said, he's got a very bad owner. And then Superman tells the robots that basically she goes to planets with red suns so she can get drunk. So she goes to party.
She can get wasted. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nick, is that comic based? Her behavior?
I think it's a Tom King thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's based
It's
specifically
not just
on
a
that
comic
comic.
base, but it's a very recent comic base.
Yeah.
It's based off this story called Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. It was written by the most horrific writer from DC. And I don't say horrific lightly. When I say he's the type of writer that a lot of normies like until their favorite character gets touched by this writer.
I agree with this. This is
outstanding. And then Tom King touches the character, and then they feel the pain that everyone else feels from the characters who got butchered before. Tom King is the epitome of the shittiest of the shit. And the worst part about it is he's not incompetent. He does know how to write, but the way he writes is horrific. He has this trope every book, and I don't care about trope. There's good tropes and there's bad trope. His trope is every book is centered around the female protagonist and the male antagonist, and the female protagonist is out there being the alpha male, while the male protagonist is trying to contemplate suicide, having panic attacks, crying every single issue, not because something tragic happened, just because they need to have a good cry, has to go to therapy. These are his books. This is basically, he's taken these DC characters and has made them his therapy session. You read these books and it feels like you're not even reading characters being these characters. You're reading the characters becoming Tom King, even the female characters. And so he doesn't discriminate. The female characters become Tom King too. They all become Tom King.
I think
nothing wrong with therapy, but I don't want my superheroes to have to.
Well, and I think the big thing here is like that part of the character or that aspect that he brought into it or whatever, I think was something that Gunn glommed onto. Cause like I agree with Caravaggio here. How do you say it? Caravaggio? Caravaggio. It's very James Gunn. Yeah, it's the most James Gunn scene in the entire movie.
This I don't get James Gunn because I thought.
Yeah, I got it. I'm not going to say I didn't laugh at it, but I understand why everybody's so pissed about it because, yeah, Supergirl is a Kryptonian. If anything, she should be acting the way that Price was bitching about Superman earlier.
Well, and
because she comes from a very regal / intelligent advanced race. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Somebody put, who was it? Gonzalo Bergali. Still, I don't get how she flies back to Earth from those red sun planets.
She probably has a ship. We just don't see it.
And so she's drunk flying.
Well, she probably drunk flew from wherever she fucking landed her ship, which is probably right outside. Yeah.
I just didn't like to see that character drunk.
No, I get it, and I understand. I totally get it. Like it's not like that was probably one of the things I disliked most in the film outside of the message. But I still think that it's open for a sequel. And I think that's why it was left open. Yeah. Or it was pretty obvious at the end because they just
or for his sequel.
His, Superman, I think.
Sequel.
Because and I think that's why part of the reason they just didn't have her come in earlier because she would have probably, like I said, just said that's bullshit.
Because he's already signed on for the sequel.
Yeah, well, he already shot it. It's in the midst of being shot, one of the two.
The sequel for him? Superman?
No, for her or hers thing. Sorry, I meant
her movie, her
standalone.
Yeah.
Because he said in I think it was GQ that he's already signed on for the sequel.
Yeah, it will be coming. Yeah. But I think Gunn said something about the sequel is it might not be a direct Superman sequel. I don't know yet, but there's rumors that Superman might end up showing up here and there in other places too. So we'll see. He'll probably be in Supergirl.
They're gonna milk it.
It's gonna be a Justice League movie. They want to get straight to the Justice League as fast as they can. Hell, they half made this a Justice League movie.
I think they're building. Gang. Well, here's the thing: not half of those people aren't even in the Justice League except for Hawkgirl and maybe. I guess maybe now they could be, but they're like the foundation. And then we're going to probably see people get piled on. And I was talking about this last night with Greg too, because we were talking about how basically Mr. Terrific does what Batman usually does in these stories. And then I said, that's why I also understand why my one guy was saying, like, yeah, you got to think of them as kind of like cops or like the guy that helps out, you know. I'm like, okay. And because like what happens is like, oh, okay, I see what it is like, because Mr. Terrific is like that guy who, when all the chips are down and everybody thinks the hero is a bad guy or whatever, he's the one guy who doesn't trust what's going on, and he kind of looks into it, and you know, he's got our boys back, you know what I mean? So like that part of it, and then the other aspects of it, he was kind of like Batman. So I was like, yeah, but I think if they'd have had Batman and the Flash and all that shit hanging out at the Hall of Justice, that'd have been too fucking distracting. And if you had Batman in this movie, then you'd have people accusing it of being a Batman movie already, when really it would be like more of a world's finest kind of thing. But I mean, to me, I think it works better just with Mr. Terrific because it's not as distracting then, because then you were going to be like, well, where's Batman? We saw Batman a little bit ago. Bring Batman back.
What'd you guys think of Nathan Fillion?
I thought he was fine. I thought the way they handled him.
Yeah.
I
like Nathan Fillion. I was going to say.
He was fine.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I think he's going to be in the show, isn't he?
Don't know. Could be, but you were saying that you thought the Supergirl thing was like the most James Gunn thing in this film. Guy Gardner is the most James Gunn thing in this film for me, and I found it kind of annoying, honestly. I hate that he picked that character. I'm a Green Lantern fan. I am not a fan
some of the
of
stuff
Guy
that was right out of that comic. I thought some of that stuff was right out of the comic, though.
Guy Gardner.
Yeah,
I mean, Guy Gardner's a douchebag.
That's what I'm saying. Like all the way, yeah.
Yeah. It is out of the comics. I'm saying he's not a good character. He's an awful character.
Yeah.
I don't that he chose Guy Gardner.
I guess I'm saying Gunn handled him fine here, and that's he needed to fill the role he needed to fill. I guess that's where I'm like, yeah.
I had no problem with how Guy Gardner was depicted, but I do see where Professor R2 is coming from. That Guy Gardner is a very love or hate character. Now he is very established. He is part of the Justice League International from the 80s. Like him, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold. We're on it. It's a good book. Great 80s book. Yeah, and a lot of teammates don't even like Guy Gardner.
Oh, then that's what they're setting up.
Yeah,
Justice Team they're just setting up the International at the end of this film, because clearly that's why he says that to Flag. He's like, well, you said you weren't worried about metahumans. Now they're running the show. Well, how they're gonna do that is they're gonna say that the Justice Gang doesn't fucking represent America. They just are they're international or whatever kind of thing. I bet you watch. That's what's
so. I'm not
happen.
gonna get Super Friends, am I?
Yeah, we're gonna get there eventually.
Well,
it's working up to that. I think.
Name the Super Friends. They'll be.
Oh no, they won't call them Super Friends. That was just
a
de facto
name.
They
did. I wouldn't complain. I know everyone in their modern artsy.
Why did they ever change that? This is why we need Clobby. Why did they ever change that from Justice League to Super Friends? Because they wanted something that didn't sound like a cop show or something for Saturday mornings, or what?
No, that I don't know.
That's a good fucking question. I could never got the answer to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just a Saturday morning cartoon.
Clobby would say it. That's probably what he'd know. Damn it.
Yeah.
He'd be like, oh yeah, it's because the network didn't want a show called Justice League because they said it sounded like a cop show. So Super Friends it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And there were characters that weren't Justice League characters.
Dude,
that's true.
I was
that's
Super
true.
Friends fan. I used to get up when I was like, my first tour of Chirac, I get up at 5:30 a.m. I put on this channel. It was called The U, and I don't know if they had that in Wisconsin, Tom. It was the same channel that had Svengoolie, and I wanted to watch Super Friends. It was great. Oh, I love.
I don't know if we ever had that, or if we got rebroadcasts. That's possible.
Yeah, we had WCIU.
We only had WGN.
Yeah,
out of Chicago, out of Illinois.
Oh, it's on Amazon. I can buy it.
What
Relive my childhood.
Oh,
do it.
Justice League? Yeah, it just came out on Blu-ray too. Yeah.
No, not Justice League.
Super Friends. Yes. That's what I meant. I knew what I meant.
Okay.
Challenge of the Super Friends.
Yeah, it just came out on Blu-ray. Yep. The whole entire series.
You probably own 3 of them already, don't? For $110. Oh my God.
Nope, it's because they collected them all for once. Because otherwise, I think they changed the DVDs to it's the same thing as the Blu-rays now. But like it used to be a pain in the ass to collect them because they were all fucking separated and had episodes all over the fucking place on the volumes.
Yeah.
But so they recollected them all together in the right order and shit. 'Cause otherwise, you're completely lost. Because it does get to a point where they switch from Super Friends to Challenge of the Super Friends and shit like that. So, like, yeah. Anyway, Dead Man says, the Hall of Justice, I said out loud, oh, wow. I was waiting for somebody in the audience to go, meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
Dude, I heard that voice.
I wanted to so bad today.
You know what? In my so I went Tuesday night, sold out, fucking sold out, and then I went this afternoon, and it was probably there was about 20 people in there, no more than 20. And there was
pretty full.
There was 7 people, 2 different groups, but they looked like they were late 50s, 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought,
well,
damn, good for them.
Some screens are going to do well. There's going to be ones that don't. My one I'm going to tomorrow at Dolby is, I checked when I bought my ticket not long ago. It looked at around 80-85% full. The only seats I need if they were like the front row.
Yeah, I'd say both of my screenings were about the same, 80%. Maybe the one Tuesday was a little bit fuller. But because in this one, everybody wanted to sit back because it's 3D. But like, yeah, and IMAX, you can't sit in the front 2-3 row. Like, I was even pretty fucking close. Like, I got one of the last semi-decent seats, and even it was still kind of skewed. Well, I waited because I wasn't sure, and I didn't buy it right away because I wanted to wait and see if I liked it. And then somebody told me they got the comic book at the screening, so I got the video done early enough this morning, and I brushed my ass there.
Oh, I thought you meant the Tuesday night that you.
No. Tuesday. Yeah, no, Tuesday. Yeah, okay. No, that was fun. Yeah. But anyhow, Jason Webster says Superman Clark wears Gucci tights and Brioni suits. Yeah. And then Jason Webster says Batman Bruce wears Nike tights and Tom Ford suits. Well, anyhow, thank you for that, Jason, and appreciate that. And let's take a look at this trailer and get out of here. What do you guys say?
When did that Dean Cain thing happen? Did you want to talk about that, or did you already talk about that?
I think he was talking with he was on with like Film Thread or something, or not Film Thread, but with Gary and
Morgan. Gary and
Jeremy. He was on with them. Oh yeah, okay.
Pierce Morgan.
Oh, okay. That's why he didn't have a thing yesterday, probably, or today.
Yeah,
no, I just heard a little bit about it. But let's check this out.
Oh, man, look at that Return of the Dang Old King, man. Oh, wow. I'm getting a hug. Okay. Emotional.
It's been hard with you and Peggy gone, Hank. I might have let myself go a little.
He turned into God.
The world has changed, Dad.
I don't know how to kick someone's ass over Zoom, but I'll figure it out. Huh. Okay. Is that a...
Don't worry. They're both all gender.
Uh-huh. Are we all gender? I'm going to give you a 4. That way it gives you something to work towards.
He looks the same, but Peggy's age.
5 should be rare.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. He's got lighter hair, I think.
Yeah.
Could just be the animation.
But I see what Six is saying.
Hair in this world.
We sure are. I do
She
not
just
want
got
to
different
be
hair.
conceited, but I have been told my whole life.
Well, they did give her like the...
Yeah, she got some bags. Yeah, a little bit of a neck thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he does have a little bit more jowl and stuff under the eye there.
She's looking like a Karen.
More wrinkles. A little bit.
I'm a 5.
Let's go back and hear that again.
But I have been told my whole life I'm a 5.
Irashamase, Dirkome.
I'm your chef, Bobby Hill.
Dang it!
Nowadays, beer is fruitier, bolder, more assertive.
I've been drinking beer for 40 years, and I never wished once that it tasted more like fruit. I love a dance with clear rules and instructions. Bobby wants to bring that new girl over for dinner.
The vegan? What the hell am I supposed to feed her?
Can't we just put some grass in a bowl?
I cannot believe they're allowing it to happen openly in the streets.
Fake sport, man. You got to tackle something, man.
Fake sport.
Retirement, there's so much time to fill.
Honey, you do not need to get up at the crack of dawn every morning.
Peggy, I didn't retire to sleep my life away like some Nepo baby.
It's Bobby. Hello, honey. So glad you called. Ooh. Are you eating something? Let me hang up and call back.
Oh, Jesus. That looks good. Yeah, Mike still got it, I think.
Looking forward to it.
That looks
Did we
good.
lose somebody?
Yeah, it did look
Nick.
good.
Oh,
There
Nick
he
will be
is.
back. He must have had a freak out because we were
It
showing
sure
a
looked
video.
good, Tom. I loved it.
Looked almost as good as beefaroni.
I had to step away to eat some beefaroni after seeing that trailer.
I had a trailer that I liked. That's all.
Ooh wee. Love myself some beefaroni.
You gave me the ooh wee.
I don't think I could ever hear Nick saying ooh wee.
Ooh wee.
Man, I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what. Action Cops says, Tom, I just heard Charlize Theron was bragging about you. Oh, really? How you convince her you were 26 years old? Well, it takes just a little convincing. And don't you think you could do better? Well, I mean, I got to fix one woman at a time. I mean, give me some time here. You know.
You gotta fix her good.
Fixed her good. Yeah, we put a video out about that. We're gonna be
About Charlize?
Yeah.
What did Charlize do?
She fucked a 26-year-old.
So?
She got pumped and dumped. I don't know.
Wait, you made a video about that?
It's
What?
in the video.
Oh.
It's just mentioned in the video.
It's not a video of it.
No.
But it's, yeah.
It's a video that she's kind of bragging about it. And
No, if
really
she had that
proud.
video, I mean, she could sell it probably, but I don't know how well that'd work for her. I mean, it is Charlize Theron.
Well, as long as they're legal.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I don't actually think that, but I'm just saying it.
Oh, you prefer illegal or?
Well, no, but like, honestly, no, but like, Tom, you're what?
I'm just picking on you.
8? Wait, how old are you?
I'm only 8. Yes.
If you were dating an 18-year-old, I would be completely repulsed because to me, that's a child.
I would understand.
Like, even
and I don't think I could date anybody younger than my child. Right? Like, I just don't think I could.
I don't think that, first of all, I wouldn't look to date an 18-year-old girl, but I also don't think that she would date me. So I don't think there's really like a
There's
problem
that
here.
too, yeah.
Did
Well,
anybody hear
then
how
again,
Price specified girl?
What'd you say?
You said I wouldn't date an 18-year-old girl.
Right. I wouldn't date
That's
her,
true.
but I'm saying I also think she wouldn't date me.
see, and this
Not
is what's
off
funny
the table.
Price, you say that, but then I was having a discussion with my son once about this kind of thing and something about him dating a woman my age. And then I mentioned something about dating a woman his age, and he made it like, he's like, you would never be able to get a woman my age. I'm like, you ain't never heard of a girl with daddy issues, huh?
I mean,
trust me,
listen,
it's plausible.
listen.
I said, watch. We could walk into a bar, and you never know. I might walk out with one before you do.
You know what? The only way that it would work, I'm not interested in this, but I'm saying the only way, just because we're spitballing here, is if it's a situation that we had money and these young ladies needed money. That's probably the only way.
That falls into the daddy issue category, yes.
That's probably the only way that a deal can be crafted here, where you and I, there's even two 18-year-olds like talking and interested in us. It would only be if they thought that they would financially benefit from it.
Potentially, unless you looked like Brad Pitt. Right?
Yes. Or if you were Brad Pitt, like you have all his money and you're a celebrity or you look like him. Yeah.
You just have to look like Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt could be a fucking junk man and he'd get laid.
If you look like the way Brad Pitt looks today, like at 60 or whatever, I don't know if it's...
That's my point, Price. He's still that old and he still looks that good.
All right, fine. Yeah. Maybe he can still do it. But most people, I don't think, can do it.
I don't disagree with you otherwise. Like, yeah, me, I'm a fucking chode. There's no way. But, like, yeah, you're... It's true. I'll date Price. There you go. We don't even know what Price looks like other than he's orange.
Hey,
I'm orange. I'm on board, though. I'm on board.
On the inside. That's all that matters.
Dead Man says, glad you guys and gals are still friends. I don't think I've ever stopped being a friend with somebody over a movie or a TV show.
Tom doesn't get enough credit for that. It drives me crazy because
I'll fight about it.
We've all had collisions on here, and here we are still on this panel.
Yeah. 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser says, hashtag Price is a spitter.
Price, can you read that as Nick?
Price is a spitter.
So that means he doesn't swallow. That's
Hey.
good to know.
You just said
Accident
hashtag.
sellers. What was that?
Ooh-wee.
You should
No,
say
I did a hee-haw
hashtag
this time.
Price is a spitter. Ooh wee.
And ooh-wee.
Nice
And
girl squad.
New York
ooh-wee.
City. Why is he always from Texas all of a sudden? I'm Nick Weiser. I come in from Texas, and I'm going to sell you the biggest goddamn fucking pizza you ever saw. It's a ravioli pizza. It's a one-time special. It's the Nick pizza.
Meat lovers pizza, because I love meat.
Accident seller says 18-year-old girl. No, but what about an 18-year-old woman? LOL. Well, it's, as Six said, it's technically legal in most places. So yeah, in some places, yeah. In that case, let's. Is there anything else to talk about? Otherwise, we'll wrap this up.
Hi, Jason.
It's time for sports and weather.
Just before we go, I like that the dead man says Price makes Nick sounds like the Kents.
No, and I totally get why people are saying it. It's the accent and the way they have my fucking Kent act. But I totally understand that. Like my mom, like I said, she's very intelligent. She was the salutatorian in her class. She's been a nurse for years. But I get her on the phone and it's like I'm fucking talking to a retard.
Wow.
I swear. It is. It's like I'm like, Mom, da 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 da. And she's like, what? Who is that?
You know what? Most of my time spent with Superman is not spent with Superman. It's watching Smallville. I'm a huge fan of that show. And so when you have Annette O'Toole playing Ma Kent, that kind of sticks in my brain. So that's probably why
true.
I have a bigger problem.
Well, on that show is where they got expanded the most, right? Like, and they also, that's the first time they made them that young.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Because Ma and Pa Kent were, that's why it's generally in the story that Pa Kent dies at some point, generally before Superman emerges
Right.
because they're older.
Yeah, before he even became Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, exactly.
Although he sounded like Christopher Reeve, I think.
Only in the regular cut.
Wait, in which cut did he not sound like Christopher
In the
Reeve?
TV cut, the scenes that they had dubbed for Christopher Reeve, he sounds like Christopher Reeve, but the scenes that they didn't have dubbed that they added, he sounds like the original actor.
Oh, wow. I didn't even remember that. I haven't seen the TV version since I was a kid.
They put it out on Blu-ray not too long ago, so you can check it out now. Yeah, it's a 3-hour and 8-minute cut.
I just watched it on HBO Max a week or two ago.
Cool. I think
Wait, the TV cut is on HBO Max?
No, I don't know what the fuck I watched. I watched Superman.
There's 3 different
Play.
versions, technically. There's like the 2-hour, 14-minute cut, which is the theatrical cut. Then the 2-hour and I think 2-hour and a half cut would be the Donner cut, and then the 3-hour cut's the TV cut. 3 hours and 8 minutes. Yeah.
Which is the one that would have everything? Is that the 3-hour and 8 one?
Yes, that has.
And how do I watch that one? Is that one on HBO Max?
I don't think it is, but I can check. Otherwise, it's on Blu-ray. Yeah. You can usually get it for like under $14. But yeah, it's sci-fi for me. Jason says here they dubbed Reeve over Jeff East. Fun fact: I worked with Jeff East. He keeps popping up on my Facebook as a friend thing, like to
Jeff East.
like, yeah, like do I want to request him as a friend? So he must be a friend of a friend or something. I got a lot of people on there that I'm probably friends with that I shouldn't say. But anyway, that being said, we're going to get out of here probably, unless there was anything else going on in the news that I missed today since I took off earlier.
I don't know. I took a nap, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you usually, I was surprised you didn't answer right away. I was like, oh, you must have to work tonight.
I know. I set an alarm, and then apparently I said, fuck that shit, and I turned over and went back to sleep.
Oh, well.
As you do.
You made it. You were here.
Yeah.
And as
Well, I did
Andre
panic
said-
when I saw Andre.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you
was
weren't
wondering-
answering me. Tom usually answers me.
My phone got shut off too on top of it all. That was why everything was a mess. That's
I
what took me
think
so
that
long
was the
to get
most
home.
responsible I was ever on a stream ever.
So
it was just
yeah,
Andre.
because I was just $3 lousy short in my account, so I had to sort that all out. And I was getting a hold of Andre from I had to go find a Wi-Fi signal. Because I was like, what the fuck? My phone shut off. What the hell? Yeah, it was a mess. But anyhow, I made it. We're here. And
We're queer.
Price.
Get used to it.
Yes.
Gay.
6 said queer. So, what do you got going on? You got a Night Owl tonight and the
There's
still
Quantum
doing
Leap,
the,
Quantum Leap at 10
yeah.
p.m. Eastern, and then there's the Night Owl at 11:45 p.m. Now, I have some good news, but at the same time, I'm asking for some help here. I wanted to get to 1,000 on my live stream channel, which is the newer channel.
You didn't when I sent those people over?
What'd you say?
You didn't the other night when I sent all those people over?
Yeah, no, and it was good, and a few of them subbed, and still, we're at 987. So we're missing 13 people. I just shared the link. If anybody could just go and click subscribe, that we're so close. 987.
I'll pity sub to you.
What'd you say?
I'll pity sub to you.
That's all I need. I need the pity sub. It's 987. Come on, this is so close. Like, we just need 13 people to click on subscribe on that channel, and it's at 1K. And after that, I won't bother anybody anymore. That's all I ever wanted.
Price has a good show.
Yeah, I
Thank
pop
you,
on there
sis.
from time to time. He didn't want to argue with me about Superman the other night, though. I think that's why he didn't let me on.
You started it late. It was just I couldn't do both at the same time.
No, I know. I was in your chat though, but you must not have saw me.
Oh, I think maybe I didn't see it. Otherwise,
I
I
think you
obviously,
It's really Professor R2 who runs that show.
Pretty much. I'm surprised he didn't see me, but he probably was thinking, I don't want to see these two fight.
I thought Price saw you. I don't know.
I didn't see it. Only later, at the end when we were doing the shout outs, did I hear Professor say, "Oh, Tom was here," and that was the first time I heard of it. Don't forget that sometimes there's like a crash. I go in and out of the room, and some of the messages disappear.
Oh no,
so
that's fine.
I must have not seen it. Otherwise, I would have absolutely sent you an invite.
I'll tell you what, it is a lot more difficult to hang in there and pay attention to what's going on in the chat than you'd think.
You're at 995 Price.
There you go.
Sub,
Getting
sub,
so
sub,
close.
sub, sub.
All right, I'm gonna unsub once he hits
sub,
9.99.
Get those sock puppet accounts open and go
Yeah.
sub.
Come on, get some monkeys going and have them subscribe.
We're at 995. Come on, guys, 5.
Come
That's
on,
all we need.
monkeys. Hey, Goddess, you owe Goddess. Sorry, Price, you owe Goddess a date.
I'm willing to go on a date
Imagine
with
a
Goddess. You know what?
and a
Yes,
I'll go
you
on
can
a
get a
date.
date.
Going on a date. I want pictures.
I am
That a girl,
100%.
Goddess. Go get him.
Go get him and his huge balls.
Nobody ever offers me dates. That's not true. 6 sent me dates.
Did I send you something? Oh, I sent you some prunes.
You know why?
Prunes,
Because
they
I
used
have
to be
Good for
dates.
you.
I have an interesting voice.
You would
I have an
send him
interesting
the
voice.
prunes.
Hey, I just lost a sub. It went to 994.
Oh,
You're supposed to
wasn't
sub,
me.
not unsub.
6
Nick
is like,
was the
fuck
one who
this.
said,
I actually
Nick was
did
the
it.
one
I
who
was
said he was
about to.
gonna
Now I
unsub.
won't because so
Nick, you're encouraging them to unsub.
No, I'm staying sub just because of that.
Anyhow, that being said, check out Price's channels, plural, and hopefully he can keep those 1,000. And I never send you an invite, do I, Jason? Yeah, it's been a while. We should have you on one of these nights. Used to do a show at the same time as this too. Remember, that was the other thing I noticed. So I just started seeing you in the chat here more recently. Nick, you got Toxic Tuesday coming up next week.
Yeah, we'll be back in action since I took off.
What are we watching?
I saw Superman. We'll be talking Charles Bronson's 10 to Midnight next week. Until then, I did a review of Superman spoiler free. Klobby's Comic Shop tomorrow night is our last episode on Friday night, as we'll be transitioning starting next week to Saturday at 6 Central. And also,
You're transing?
I'm transing. And this is not the only way I'm transitioning. I also have an extension of myself that's transitioning as well. I formed a super group, and together, me and 4 other dudes who came together because this is corner of YouTube from a, let's just say, a pop culture love or lack thereof. We're like, hey, you like heavy tunes, I like heavy tunes. Let's get a channel going. So we did, and it's called Bonded by Metal, and our first video should be out Saturday morning. The link is in the chat. Once again, first video will be called 3 albums you hate from bands you love. It is recorded. I'm just putting all the little bolts and screws together, and I can't wait for it to be out Saturday morning. So do check that out if you're looking for something different in our sphere. And you definitely get some polarizing takes on this video. There's definitely some hot takes here. So yeah, thanks for having me, Tom. It was a great conversation. And Price's balls are huge.
I think that there's going to be a lot of interesting conversations around this, especially with the difference of opinions and those who know comic books really good and the different iterations of the character and all that kind of business. But, you know, it'll be an interesting weekend, I think, to say the least.
The one thing that I have to say, though, is that a movie like this shouldn't have been divisive. So the fact that it's divisive is probably not as great as it could have been. I think this should have been a movie that captures a wider net. But we'll see after this weekend. Maybe I'm wrong, and all the kids will go see it, and it'll make a ton of money, and I could be mistaken.
Here's the problem, Price. I don't disagree, but I feel like no matter what movie will come out of this, it would have been divisive. I really don't see an outcome for this movie where it would not been divisive. I don't. Someone would have been mad about this movie somewhere and make noise about it. Let's just say if it was something more like the Reeve movies, the Snyder bots would have still been a bunch of cultists and sounded off like crazy. And then even if you're not a Snyder bot, you would have had people say it's too stuck in the past. This movie is pretty much in a damned if you do, damned if you don't position. That's the truth.
Pretty much.
You know, I watched the trailer. Go ahead, Tim.
No, I just know it's going to be. I was going to repeat myself. Go ahead.
I watched the trailers and I thought I was going to love this movie, but I did have some concerns with some of the things that I had seen, but those turned out to not be a concern whatsoever once I saw the movie. So I just want to say, if you've watched the trailers and it looks good, go see it. If you watch the trailers and you don't like what you see in the trailers, you might still like the movie, because I don't feel like the trailers are necessarily a good representative, at least for me. They weren't. So I give the movie a 4.5. So that's my review.
Ooh.
But I want people to go see it, because I feel like maybe the sequel will be good.
It's good to make up your mind. It's good to make up your mind that way. I respect your 4.5 out of 10. I really do. You went into it. You had the best hopes and intentions. And, you know, you just weren't satisfied.
Yeah, I wasn't.
It's okay. It's the order of things sometimes.
Yeah.
And then R2, you're going to be hanging out with Price, but is there anything else you want to plug that you got?
No, I'll be hanging out with Price later on the Night Owl. Usually hang out over on Mr. Brown Alliance on Sunday afternoons. And let's see, I'll also be doing Dark Hours show, the Two Hoes on Sunday. The uninspired hour or so. Two Hoes is is for short. But we'll be covering the original X-Men film from the 90s. So that ought to be fun. Yeah.
With Rogue and Wolverine.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
It is. You know what happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning?
You get a really bad one-liner.
The same thing that happened.
I gotta read that book again, because I swear that because I have the novelization of it, and I swear somewhere there's like some deleted, because there's a bunch of deleted stuff.
Yeah.
Because I also had I had the shooting, or the original shooting script for a while. There was like 2 or 3 scenes before the movie even starts that were in there that like, you have not only Magneto's like quote unquote origin scene, you have Storm's origin scene, Scott's origin scene, and I can't remember who else, but there's like a few of those that are completely gone. And I swear that whole thing is like a callback to like those two fight earlier on in the movie. And there was something else. There was like, it was supposed to be a crack on a line that he said to her, but we didn't see that scene. So I'm like, why did they even leave it in there? Because it makes no sense. She might as well just zapped him and not said a goddamn word. Because like now it's like one of the worst, like, I lied moments in the fucking,
yeah.
Schwarzenegger would have come up with something better than that. He'd been like, I can't say that. It makes no stupid sense. I'm going to come up with something better. Like, it's time for fried frog legs. That works. Let's use that. Well, who wants some fried frog legs? That works. Let's do that. I mean, there's a million better things than that, right?
Yeah.
I know he's a toad, but still, I mean, it works. Right? Anyway, Six, are you going to be doing any shows? I know you do a show all the time, you say.
I do. I'm going to be live on my channel, and I'm going to be discussing the different personality traits of cats based on their color.
Oh, that's interesting.
Look for that this weekend.
Did you catch the bit where the one dude was like, he wants to talk to the cat and they can sense emotions over the phone? Is that true?
What?
It's Superman real quick when everything's going to hell, and he's like, put so-and-so on the phone, the cat's name. I can't remember what it is. It's like, they can sense emotions. These guys that put her on the phone.
No, they can't.
Yeah. Jesus Davila sends in $10. Thank you, Jesus, for the support. Doesn't say anything, just sends in some support. He's probably trying to get it in after the credits start rolling. He does that often.
We have 999 subscribers.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm subscribed to it, but let me double check again.
At the end, you'll be the holdout.
No, I'm pretty sure I was one of the first, I think.
I think you were one of the first, actually.
Yeah. I got to do this one for Bonded by Metal, though, I see in the chat here. From Neek.
I was number 34.
Where is yours?
Wow. Thanks for subbing.
I can't find price.
30. Oh, wow. I hit 38. Holy crap. I didn't expect. I thought it was probably just like one person. No, I guess there are people who want.
I didn't even know about it until you brought it up on your one show the other day.
I've kept it under wraps for about 2 months.
Yeah.
I was super low. Like, guys, do not tell anyone about it. We're gonna just drop this out of nowhere when it's time. And this week we did. Hey guys, look, here's a channel. Boom. Oh, there's a logo. Boom. Oh, hey, look, the page is set up. Boom. Video out this Saturday. Boom. I don't want to lead people on and then 6 months
like me.
Later, I just wanted to come out swinging out the gate, and this week has been pretty much that.
I'm good at that, coming up with stuff and never following through.
It was tough to not want to tell people. It really was. It was definitely like, because I just want to be like, yeah, I got 4 other dudes. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be huge. It was tough. Trust me.
Okay, we're 1,000. We got 1,000.
Okay, we can end the show.
Woo!
We did it. Thank you so much. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, everybody.
Surgery for your balls and make them bigger.
All right. Take care of yourselves and each other. And everybody got to do their outro, right? Right?
Yep.
Okay, good.
We all did.
Right.
I feel.
And check out Scribe Light as well. Thanks again to Scribe for hanging in there for a bit.
And Andre on Midnight's Edge.
Yes, and Andre as well, of course.
Yep.
Appreciate it. All right. End credits.
Cute kitty.